days that follow, your trials will be great, Corvo. Seek the ancient runes bearing my mark in the lonely places of your world, and at shrines raised in my name. These runes will grant you powers beyond those of other men. To help you find these runes, I give you this.
Go and they're like, yeah, well, this is how we're getting started today. This is how we are. It feels about right. Appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button if you appreciate content. Talk about me. Yes. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Actually,
yeah, good game. Audio and
ooh, that is loud.
Nice.
Yeah, I seen that when I scrolled down. So whoa, wow. So yeah, so perfect. This is a fantastic start. But yeah,
We're missing the coast.
But we should all be good now. Everything should sound good at this point. But as I was saying before, you can catch us back here every Sunday doing the Game Drain main show. On this coming Saturday, we're hoping to be able to do a stream all together, all playing the same video game and whatnot. So definitely make sure you come back and check out that. That should be pretty wild because we're not exactly playing the best games. We're playing games that are pretty much retired or that kind of suck to play. So
Dope concepts that suck to play.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
understood.
So we're actually not going to be talking about that subject this week because we all didn't get to play together. So we're going to skip on that this week, and we'll bring that back next week, and hopefully we can play the game previously in like the day before we all hop on, so we can all have a fresh feeling about how we feel about those games. But anyways, everybody go on ahead and introduce yourself. I'm gonna start out Ham Solo 05 Gaming. Find me on Twitter or TSWS Gaming on YouTube. But yeah, you guys take the floor.
All right, Matt.
Matt likes games. Or if Juan wants to go, would you like to go?
You want me to? Okay, I'll see what I'll go.
Okay, yeah.
All right. I'm Tuan. You could follow me at It's Me Tuan. I'm on Twitter. That's where I'm most active. And you could also find me here every Sunday at the Game Drain. So that's all I got. All right, Matt. Now it's your turn.
Okay, so Matt likes games, or at Matt likes games on Twitter and on YouTube. Matt likes games. I haven't posted a video this week because news has been awfully dry. Nothing I really want to talk about. But once there's news to talk about, I will be posting over on there pretty regularly. So go check it out.
You guys can find me on Twitter at foremost_GG. That's pretty much where I'm at all the time. I'm here every Sunday as well on the Game Drain, so please be sure to check us out. But yeah, usually you just find me on Twitter right here at foremost_GG.
Awesome, dope. So we might as well go on ahead and move on with the show. So obviously, our first thing that we're going to be talking about, if you guys have been checking out the scroll up top, the first thing is going to be what we've been playing. I'm going to go on ahead and choose Foremost first. Go on ahead, go.
Okay,
Elden
so well, actually, yeah. So besides Elden Ring, which I'll talk about more of this later, I recently started playing Sunset Overdrive again, or Sunset Overdrive.
Mhm.
So that's been a fantastic game to play, since it's on Game Pass, because I haven't played it back since I used to borrow my friend's Xbox One, because I didn't have a console at the time, so I used to just play on his all the time. So yeah, lately I've actually been playing Sunset Overdrive and also
Awesome
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Ooh, yeah, very nice game.
I've
Love
also
that
been
game.
I started that, yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy, man. It's a wild ride.
So I hear.
Yeah, I guess I'll go after then. So I've been playing the new Kirby game, Kirby the Forgotten Land. It's actually really good.
I heard it's actually really good.
It is really good. I'm in the third world now. And yeah, it's just a nice little especially after work, it's nice, it's a nice chill game. It's not too difficult. I mean, you guys have probably figure that out. But yeah, it's just such a nice, music's great. There are some little challenge rooms in here that will, get your mind running a little bit. But yeah, it's just a nice little fun game. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've really been playing. Other than that, but it's a very
stuff. I have been playing a few things on top of typical Elden Ring, but I've recently gone and finished up Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Oh,
pretty decent game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just today, before this podcast, I just finished Kena Bridge of Spirits. So that's what I've been playing. Oh, and Destiny 2. I've gotten back into Destiny 2.
That's
so
Kena is a very cute game.
It's so not what I expected because I didn't watch a lot of their promo for it. Dude, it's a much darker game than I expected. I expected
it looks
very
adorable on the outside, yeah, but it's like very Pixar style, but that game it gets dark really fast.
Very dark. There's
so many games nowadays where they're so cutesy and you think, oh, this is like for kids, but then you see it, it's just kicks your ass. It's like there's just so many dark elements. Probably, I mean, like even Tunic. People said, oh, look at this, it's a nice little cute game, right? But apparently, it just kicks your ass.
I haven't tried Tunic yet. Still, I need to.
Yeah, that's another game we need to get going.
Yeah, I've heard many people talk about how much that game is kicking their ass and whatnot.
Yeah, but you look at it, it's like yeah, because it looks like just a nice little cute game, right?
Right.
It's like, oh, I could get my kid to play
that game's got so much puzzling to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go last since I'm the only one left. I've
Bless
been
you.
playing all kinds of different games. Let's see. I started on my quest through the Devil May Cry games.
Nice.
I'm about a third or halfway through the first one right now. So I've been working on that on my PS2.
Nice.
Let's see. On the PS5, I've still been grinding a little bit away at Gran Turismo, trying to enjoy that game. And
I installed it. I unsealed it.
yeah, okay.
I
Okay.
unsealed the shrink wrap.
Chris
I'm
this
getting
week.
there.
I want to
Yeah.
hear what you think of it here
Yeah.
in just a moment, but
Well, I didn't actually play it yet, though.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I got through the you know.
All right, never mind. Let's see. I've been playing some Ghost of Tsushima as well on my PS5. Infamous Second Son. I just started that. Never played that before, so this is a really interesting game. It's kind of weird shaking your controller and using it like a spray paint or like a spray can or whatnot. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool. It's nice, and they really involve like the touchpad on that game a lot, and
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
not sure how much I like that, but at the same time, it's a nice new take. It's something different, and they're just trying to take advantage of all the tools they got, so I can't blame them on that at all. As for the Xbox, I've been playing Elden Ring on that with my boys. Also, playing Flight Sim, like way more Flight Sim than I thought I'd be playing anytime soon. But yeah, I actually flew yesterday in a jet from Boston all the way to LA, and it took about 4-ish hours. And man,
Of you playing?
yeah.
4 hours. You
Yeah.
on your PC doing that, or
No, I was on the Xbox.
I'm doing it on the Xbox?
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
I've seen
because
some-
it uses like your actual it uses the actual I forgot what it uses. It's like everything is like real time distance or whatever though, right?
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
people with
Yep.
like the craziest setups when it comes to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Like they got
Oh,
the VR
yeah.
headset.
Oh, dude, they have
like
the full
they have,
on
like, the whole
everything.
panel. Like that Steel Battalion shit and like the OG Xbox. It's something like that where it's just the whole ass, freaking levers and everything. And it's like the guy's like he's basically flying a plane. That's basically what he's doing. Like with like everything he's
Essentially,
got in
yeah.
front of him. That's basically what he's doing. He's flying a plane.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
It's
dope. I
Yeah.
would love to have that kind of setup. Not right now, but yeah, I'd like to get that eventually or build up to something like that once I find somebody that knows how to put that kind of stuff together. But yeah, those are mostly the games I've been playing. I've been playing a little bit of this and that here and there other than that, but yeah, that is the gist of it. But anyways, as I said before, we're moving over dope concepts, so we're going straight
Right.
into the weekly breakdown. So what's the news? What's happening? Anybody hear anything fun?
Anyone
Dude,
wants to
it's
start?
honestly been such a slow week.
Yeah,
I
it's
got
been.
one.
It's been a
Okay, yeah,
very,
okay.
very slow
Alright.
week.
All right, so I guess I'll go because I got one
Yeah,
in
Yeah.
you
mind
can
already.
you can go, yeah.
All right, we all know in 3 days what's happening. The House of the Dead remake's coming out.
Oh, that
Wow.
is true. I did forget about that.
I like how you
And, like,
said we
I'm-
all know.
Yeah, we all do know
By
that.
we, I'm talking about me. I'm talking about
Yeah.
me. So, and I think Hamsol, you already know my opinion towards it. Like, I'm kind of, I think you saw me on that last stream that you had. I was like, it's gonna probably get a 40% on Metacritic. Like, I do not have much faith in it at all, personally.
Yeah.
And it's honestly the main reason is because of this thing, the Joy-Con. Like the controls, like there's no way it's gonna be as good as this, the gun.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
sorry, the way I look at it, right, is they're saying they're using gyro aiming for the controls, and I've actually tried out another game on the Switch called Assault Chain Gun, and it is so bad. Like I am saying, like you have to you're playing the game, right, and you gotta constantly reset the calibration like every 5 seconds because it just keeps on getting out of calibration, right? So it's like, okay, so you're playing House of the Dead and you basically can't even use a light gun. So it's like you're pretty much just regulated to the joysticks, and it's like who really wants to play the game like that? Plus, it's gonna be like $30 Canadian, and it's gonna be 30 minutes long, and I'm assuming a lot of these
Dollar a
critics are gonna
minute.
look at. Yeah, right. A lot of these critics are gonna
Premium
like
experience.
a lot of these critics are gonna sit down. They're gonna be like, okay, it's only 30 minutes long, right? Because I'm pretty sure they're not gonna add any new stages or anything like that. It's gonna be the House of the Dead, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna sit down. It's gonna be over and be like, okay, this is not worth the money. Like 10. They're probably gonna score it like a 10 out of 100 or something. And it's probably I'm telling you right now, the game's gonna get slammed. Like it's not gonna do good critically.
Yeah,
Like,
what was
I'm
the
telling
number?
you.
Interesting to see.
He so Tuan was in my chat. We were talking about this game on bullsitting with Loke and Cozy
Yeah.
Beluga, and Tuan had a wonderful, absolutely generous Metacritic score for this game. What did you think it was?
Yeah, I said 40 out of 100.
That's bad.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now that like if it's over 50, I'll be impressed. Honestly, I'll be like, I'm
You'll
shocked.
be impressed if it's over 50.
If it's over 50, I'll actually be like, guys,
Watch it blow your expectations out of the water.
Getting like a
nah.
97.
Like my bar for this game is in hell right now.
Dude, if it's 97, I'll eat my own words.
Yeah, I swear
Right?
to God.
That's fantastic. That's
I'm
fantastic.
Yeah,
interested to see
telling
this game now.
All right,
I'm
that's
interested.
Well, yo, we should do that for dope concepts that suck. For the House of the Dead remake, if it actually does end up becoming shit. Because it's like, it's a dope concept, right? It's House of the Dead, it's like, that's pretty sick, right? But the game actually
Sounds like
sucks.
it's gonna end
it's
up
gonna
being
suck
shit.
to play. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna suck to play. Because like I said, it's all the gyro. It's not gonna work. I'm telling you. Like it's not. I think I know it's not gonna work. Like I just know it's. And the thing is, I see all these people getting excited for it, and they just don't. They don't know what's happening. Like I'm just seeing all this shit in advance, and people are like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that'll probably work, right?" But I'm like, it's not gonna work. Like it's not possible. Like you cannot make a good light gun with gyro aiming. It's just not gonna happen. And just the fact that the older game plays better automatically makes this remake worse. So what's the point of getting a remake if the game is already worse? It's like I already have a better experience. That was the original release. So I don't know.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Matt, you got any news, bruh?
Oh, well, I mean, we could, because I was gonna bring it up, but I think I will. How about PlayStation? How about PlayStation
Oh
announcing
yeah, they finally announced it. Yeah.
their 3 tiers of their new subscription service? I wanted to get, because I'm pretty sure I know Hams, because me and Ham have talked about this. But what are your thoughts, Cottontail and Twan, about what you've seen from the subscription service? Like that, if you were someone who didn't care about PlayStation, would you look at that subscription service and say, okay, I should get a PlayStation? Like, what does that make you think?
It's definitely not a system seller, that's for sure. Like the way Game Pass
Yeah,
is.
it's definitely. I'm right
Like
there with you.
it
Twan.
also depends on the games. Like we don't really know the games. They just say PS1, PS2, and like cloud PS3 games, right? We don't really know what they're actually going to add to it. Like it's interesting because I'm pretty sure as of right now, PS4 does not actually have PS1 games natively on the hardware as of right now. It's only PS2 games, I'm pretty sure. And it's only like a handful of PS2 games, like 20 or something like that. So
Yeah, I'm not
I
even
don't know
sure about PS1
Yeah, I'm not
games.
sure because they did say PS1, and I think they even said PSP games as well.
Yep.
So I'm not entirely sure how
Yeah.
that's gonna work. So I don't know if they're gonna
They're
make a
saying,
new emulator for that maybe, and then they're gonna
yeah,
open up.
they're
a whole
saying a
classic.
handful of PS1, a handful of PS2, a handful of PSP, but they'll have a lot of those libraries available for streaming, which is why I'm like, which is the thing I wanted most was to be able to at least play old games, like emulated.
Natively, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Download
But
that. joint.
also, I'm not sure if these PS1 and PS2 games are adding. I don't know if you're able to if you're gonna be able to buy those separately, or if you have
Yeah.
to get them through a subscription like Nintendo's doing, where it's like, okay,
It-
so you have to get the Nintendo Online if you want to play those NES games. I'm not sure. Like, we have no
Mhm.
idea. They're saying PS1, PS2, PSP games. That's all they said, right? We don't know what games they are, and we don't know how they're gonna do
Yeah.
it, right? So there's just
I
so much.
don't think you're getting those out of the subscription. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like if you were, that would be something to talk about.
I
They
tell
would
you
have let
what.
you know.
I tell you what. The chat's already a little lit. We got
Oh,
Blind Giant said, "Dope concepts that suck is PlayStation Spartacus."
Nice.
Blind's right.
Oof.
Blind's
Oof.
right. It's a really cool concept, but it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It does seem to suck, dude. Like I like, and I used to have a PlayStation 4, even though it's like gone and dead by now. But like, I just can't see the appeal of PlayStation's new like tier service at all, outside of like basically if you have PlayStation Plus, then like you're cool, but that's the only thing I'd possibly keep it for, because
Yeah.
the rest of the benefits just seem like they suck, especially if it's just not like, dude, I'm not even big in like the whole console thing, but like it's just not on Game Pass's level, like at all. It's
It,
just not.
it seems to me like this is for people like this isn't what Twan said. This isn't this isn't going to sell systems. I feel like Game Pass, especially with the Series S, can sell systems.
Yeah. 'cause
This
it's-
is for people who are like, okay, we've already got a PlayStation.
Mhm.
This seems cool. Maybe I'll try it. Like, I don't think this is for people who are like, I'm on the fence. Give me a reason I should pick you. I don't feel
Yeah.
like this is for people like that.
Yeah, because the Series S and the Game Pass is just such a nice combo, right? You get the low price of the console, and then you have the subscription, and then you're pretty much just set. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
it.
I mean, I'm excited to see what they do or how they try to move around with the idea after seeing kind of the backlash a little bit of announcing what they have and really reevaluating what they're going to do, because at some point they're going to drop it, but if it looks really that unattractive and a lot of people are just like not looking into that top tier and just wanting it, because the second tier seems like as far as I want to go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I
But
can't imagine going any
But
higher.
what was exclusive to the third tier again?
the third
Third
tier
tier
was
is-
the PS2, PlayStation,
Yeah.
PlayStation 3, and PSP games.
PSP.
And it was a mixture of native and streamed games.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to move this thought over to Foremost, because you play a streaming service.
I play multiple, yes.
Yeah, right.
Multiple.
So
I don't even know there's multiple.
so it really bothers me to not be able to download stuff natively when I have a console, right? But you already don't really care about some games being native. So what do you think about the third tier, and is it worth it at all for even someone like you?
No, like even for me, who's someone like I say, like I'm heavily into like streaming services because it's just stuff I've been dreaming of since I was a kid. But like that third tier, I can't. As it stands right now, there's nothing for me to want to go higher than the second, like at all.
And the second tier is
Personally.
just PS4 and PS5 games. Is that how that
Yeah,
works?
the
Ye-
second
Or-
tier is all native PS4 and PS5
Yeah.
games,
Yeah,
which isn't bad.
no,
It's not
it's
bad.
not at all.
Yeah.
But it's like I can't go any higher than that, because it's like third tier from my understanding is basically like it's not even like Game Pass where you could just stream the whole game. It's like basically you can stream like the older titles that are all emulated, and then you might have like some recent games, but they're all demos. They're not even full games. They're just extended
it's a
demos you
trial
could
or
happen to
something.
play. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And,
I personally, I'm just not a fan of it.
And
I
did they
think it
already
would be-
say? Did they already say what they're doing with PS Now? Are they like merging that with?
You have a
this,
PS
or is
Now
it separate?
subscription, it converts to, I think, the third tier,
To the
if I'm
third
not
tier?
mistaken. It'll convert. So what people are doing now, they're going on CD key sites, getting
Mhm.
12 months of PS Now for like $60,
Nice.
and then once it switches over, they've got pretty much a full year of
The
of that
extra, or
service.
what is
I-
it called again? Essential, right? Or
I-
extra?
PS Essential is the bottom
Essential,
tier.
that's
PS,
cool,
I think it's
Essential.
Premium is the top tier.
Or premium?
I forget what the middle one is, honestly.
It might have been
But-
extra or something.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not sure.
extra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like the mistake they made, honestly, really, and it's not even, it's something that can be fixed. It's just the pricing. Just $18 a month for the third tier. That should be $14.99. The second tier should be like $12.99 or I don't know, whatever, $11.99. And then the first tier should be, $9.99 or $8.99. I feel
Right.
like if it was like that, it would be a lot easier to swallow for most
Yes,
people.
that 18, I can't, dude. Like,
Yeah,
I just can't because you have Game Pass that's what, like 14, basically 15 a
$15.
month. Yeah, and you have full games in their entirety plus day one games. So it's like I seriously can't justify having that. And like I don't even use xCloud that often because it's just an added benefit of having Game Pass Ultimate. But like it's still like I even have that, so I could still play games on the go. If I want to take a bath, I could sit there and play Forza Horizon 5 on my phone because why not? It's not perfect, but it's still a hell of a deal for $15 a month instead of paying 18 and I'm just stuck to demos and I can't even play the games that I really want to.
plus on
They also
Xbox, it's more of an
well-
addition as opposed to it's like an extra bonus as opposed to the main thing that's supposed to pull you in.
Right.
Mhm.
I actually said to somebody, I was like, I feel like they did it backwards a little bit, like where the PS4 and PS5 games should be on the higher tier and the older games should be on the lower tier, especially since so much of them are being
newer games, yeah.
streamed and
Yeah.
whatnot. Like, if I knew I could pay a little bit more and get top quality new games, like even if they're not, day and date, but like let's say
Like 6 months.
Horizon Forbidden West drops December of this year into Spartacus, or maybe next February after it's been a year it drops in. It's just not day and date. Right? I would see more of a I need that service because it has the new games compared to I got these new games in the second tier, but I played I played a few games from the higher tier and I didn't really like them, so I canceled it or something like that happened.
Yeah.
I could see that happening a lot more often than not.
Mhm. It really depends
Agree with that
how many
100%.
depends on how many PS2 and PSP games they're adding as well. We don't really know. And,
It almost
they
feels
haven't
like they're
actually
testing
come out
old
in, like-
games.
yeah.
By putting them in the
I-
third tier, it feels like a test almost, like to say, oh, well, it's here, and if it fails, then we'll just get rid of the top tier and just keep the bottom two.
They're basically digging themselves a grave at that point, dude. You're digging yourself an early grave doing that.
It's so weird because I don't even Jim Ryan. He's all like, "Oh, who wants to play older games?" So I'm surprised someone like him would even make a decision like that to make the older
your
games on the higher
premium-
tier. Yeah,
Yeah, your premium tier is older games streamed.
yeah, no, it's a little weird when you really actually think about it. And they did say they are going to put first party games on the second tier because I think Miles Morales is going to be on there day one, or I think another.
It
other
should
game.
be.
I'm
It
pretty
should
sure
be.
they said that game.
They
and I think
said
there's 3
Miles
other games.
Morales and Returnal
Okay, that's not. Yeah, so
are
who
going
knows?
to be on there.
So that
I
was
might
that's like
check
a
it out.
year they came out, or how long has Returnal been out for now?
Returnal
Like-
was April. right?
So it's
Yeah,
a
April.
month.
So it's been
it's
out
gonna
for
be a
about a
year.
year.
So
Yeah.
does that mean they're gonna release these games in a year on the service, or is it just a select
I hope
games?
not.
I hope,
Like,
dude, if they do, that's so dumb. That's really,
That's a
really dumb.
terrible. It's like I
Well,
get not wanting to do day and date yet, but that's a year later is just
but is
that's
it really
unacceptable.
that bad of an idea? Because like it's like it drives people to act now or wait a year. And if they put that stake down where it is for sure gonna be a year until you get this, I feel like that might drive sales for those that either A want physical or B are always playing in the now.
The people who want physical are always going to buy physical
Right.
because you've seen them. You've seen them on Twitter. The people who are on Twitter diehard physical, they're diehard physical. They're not missing anything.
Okay.
So, like, I'm not even worried about those people. Like, you've got a point when it comes to someone who, like, when Ragnarok comes out, whether that's in the service day and date or not, I'm getting it. I'm gonna get it. Same with if they do Uncharted 5, which I don't think they're gonna do anytime soon, but if they did, I'm getting it day one. I'm not gonna wait. But like I guess you got a point there with the people who want to play it now. It does almost certainly help sales immediately. But it's like if sales is your thing, which I mean their business it is, then why introduce this like this tier these tiers should be priced lower if your focus for now is just immediate sales. Like if you're not really worried about the subscription thing, then just don't do it. Don't do it. Or maybe this is their way of easing into it for a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
people. Who knows? I just feel like you got to kind of you you got to be in or out of this because like
yeah,
half-assing it only makes you
yeah,
look bad.
I agree with that 100%. It
yeah.
does
Because then you
feel
just
kind
get
of
compared to it,
half-assed.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Because especially with Game Pass, right? You're just gonna get compared to that, right? You're gonna get
yeah,
compared to
of
the
course.
competition.
And the thing is, like both of those companies, they're always like Phil Spencer, especially, and Jim Ryan. They're always like, we're not competing with with the other one. It's like, yeah, you can say that, but you are. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, you are, and your direct competitor is offering a much better value than you. Right. So I don't
They
know.
know that, but they're waiting. See, this is kind of how I kind of look at it. I feel like PlayStation's treating this service so lightly and kind of like not doing the whole day and date stuff because they don't quite. I mean, they see Xbox, but they don't. They ain't really worried about them yet at
Yeah,
all.
not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Until these games actually drop, which I feel
Exactly.
is what a lot of fanboys and stuff even say,
Yeah.
which is a fair argument, really, because it's been many years of us hearing the same old, it's coming, it's coming,
Yeah.
it's coming, and like it's like when, and they're just like, I can't tell you that yet, and I kind of get that at this point. I was talking with K Mega about this on his show. He was like, look at Halo. They gave a release date on that game, and look at the state that it's in right now. Look at a lot of
Yeah.
games that give the release date out too early, and then by the time that time comes around, they either shove it out and it's not
Yeah.
done, or they I mean, that's really it. They shove it out and it's not
Yeah.
done, like flat
Yeah.
out. I mean,
Yeah. People
let's
just
not beat around
announce.
the bush too
Yeah.
much.
People just announce stuff too early nowadays, especially in the game
Exactly.
industry.
So
I've.
with
Oh no. Go
me,
ahead.
I kind of feel where I kind of feel that idea of, hey, let's not put a date on it. But the thing that kind of bugs me a little bit with Xbox, and why PlayStation isn't, or I feel that PlayStation isn't taking them so serious and nervous about them or whatnot, is because Xbox is very inconsistent. They're very inconsistent. They'll be flashy one year and quiet the next year, and then out of the woods they come with the coolest thing ever, and then they'll drop something like Crossfire X,
Yeah.
and it'll like quiet everybody again. And you
Yeah.
know, right now, I'm not sure if they're really just working up to this summer to try to drop some crazy news, because you know, Plague
Yeah.
Tale and stuff like that is supposed to be coming out around that time, and the closer we get to Starfield, the more inevitable it is that they're going to have to
Yeah.
show more information
Something,
about that.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
there's a lot of excitement there, but at the same time, it's just like, man, like it's the consistency thing, man, that really bothers me the most when it comes to it, because it's just like, dude, you don't have to give me a date, but can you tell me something about the game or something about something? Like, I mean, we got a lot of things that are announced and being worked on. I feel like you could talk about something, even if it's just a hint towards something,
Yeah.
just to keep everybody on their toes. Because last year, I feel like as an Xbox fan, I was running around with my head cut off. I was just like, what the hell is going on? I'm hearing so much stuff and trying to process it, and Matt's making all sorts of different videos, and right now, I mean, you look at, I mean, ACG even said just recently, like, I don't got nothing to talk about.
Yeah. I feel like they have, and they showed it last year, because exactly what you're talking about now, they have this thing in place at Microsoft. I don't know this. I feel like it. They have a thing in place at Microsoft where it's like, once things are coming, we'll talk about things that are coming and the stuff that is happening after those things. So, like, I guess a good example would be Forza. I like the way they announced Forza. We didn't know Forza was coming until like what, 5 months before it
Yeah,
arrived.
but everyone kind of assumed it was gonna be like, oh yeah, Forza.
Yeah, everyone kind of assumed it. I
Yeah.
feel like that's going to happen with Forza Motorsport, but that's besides the point.
Mhm.
But like, once we get into 2023 or even later this year, I feel like, you know, once we get to E3, I think that, or E3, Xbox's show, once we get to that, I feel like the floodgates kind of start to open for them, because Xbox or Microsoft in general as a company, not even just Xbox, seems like they only want to announce things whenever they're right there. Whenever they're right there, because all the times that they've announced something way in advance, Perfect Dark most recently, it's always come back to bite them. Always. So, and with Scalebound, they announced Scalebound like
Disaster.
what, 3, yeah, and it was like a disaster. No,
Yeah.
like it got canned almost like what, 2 years later, a year later.
Yeah, I think it was almost like 3 years later. I think it got
Yeah,
canceled.
they announced it way too early. Where
Yeah.
like I like the idea of them, like once the games start to come, I feel like it's gonna flip. It's gonna be like you're gonna be hearing so much news. Like once we get Starfield, once we get past Starfield, I think you're gonna start hearing about probably Avowed. Once we get past Avowed, you're gonna start hearing about Hellblade. Once we get past Hellblade, you're gonna start hearing about Fable. Once we get past Fable, and it just keeps going. Outer Worlds 2,
Perfect
Elder
Dark
Scrolls
hopefully
6,
soon, yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah, all that stuff.
It does
And I
kind
feel
of
like
feel
one,
like Starfield is a placeholder for a lot of other things right now.
it is, because it's, or at least exactly that's the way it seems. They seem like they're just afraid. They're afraid, especially after Perfect Dark recently. They're afraid of like, hey, we're going to give you more details on something that's slated for 2024.
Mhm.
Because I just don't think they want to. I think they want to give you details on Starfield.
Yeah.
They want to give you details on probably Forza Motorsport. And then once those, and then say that's enough for you guys for right now. We'll talk when we have definitively more stuff to actually share with you that we feel confident
I
with.
feel like
Yeah.
at this point, I'm just waiting for him to say Redfall is delayed.
Yeah.
You know
I could
what?
see-
That's a good question, dude. Is I don't
Yeah.
think I've heard anything about that game recently.
There was
I could
rumors that was
see
gonna get
Redfall
delayed,
being
I'm pretty
delayed.
sure. Pretty sure there's rumors about it.
There's rumors of it being delayed until the fall, but that's the last thing I've heard about it at all.
I like I've said, I've always said that game would be perfect for Halloween. You launch that Halloween night. You don't even have to launch it at midnight. I mean, obviously you would
o'clock.
like a game to launch at midnight, but it would be like, that would be a cool thing to just launch, you know, 8 p.m. Halloween night or something, 9 p.m. Halloween night, something like that. I feel would be really awesome. But I doubt they'll do that, but
No,
that'd be
yeah,
cool.
I do feel like
Yeah.
Xbox is going to do good towards the end of the year, but right now it's just
Yeah.
really quiet. And maybe, you know what? Something I just thought of is, how does Bethesda drop their games?
Exactly.
You know? And
That is true.
and Xbox acquiring Bethesda, they did talk a lot about, we're going to be taking ideas and bouncing them off of each other
Yes.
and figuring things out. So
Yes.
as much as us as fans may sit back and be like, "Where's the news? What the hell is going on? What the fuck?" Essentially,
Yeah.
in all actuality, things could be totally fine. Things could be totally fine with a lot of things that we think are under fire right now. I mean, I know there's a whole Undead Labs thing going on. There is that
Oh, yeah.
whole, I mean, obviously the whole Activision Blizzard thing, but then there's the whole Perfect Dark thing with the initiative going on as well. And you hear two different sides, one side saying, everything's on fire, and the other side saying, dude, like, this is going to be dope. Like, you guys just wait and see. So, and you heard the same similar stuff around the time where, they were getting done with making games like The Last of Us 2. Oh man,
Yeah.
Naughty Dog is really doing this to their developers. They're crunching them. They're always tired. They're overworked, and we're hearing the same type of stuff. Yes, Undead Labs is a lot smaller than a Naughty Dog, but like last time we heard crazy stuff like that, obviously they had a lot of passion for what they believed they could put out, and look at what Last of Us 2 ended up doing. Crazy good. Whether you love the story or not, you couldn't deny it was a great game.
It was.
Yeah, just well made, right?
Definitely was.
For sure.
A lot of.
You know what? I'm actually kind of sad that I still never got to play it.
Well, yeah, your PS4 is completely broke, right?
Well, it's broken. Yeah, no, it's gone, like in the trash, like gone.
Yeah, you went ham on the fan, remember?
Yeah.
Well, dude, that's
I'm
not even.
really curious if they're ever going to put that on PC. I don't know. I don't know if they put the first one on PC first, or if they do the second one. Just jump straight.
I think they do a collection.
They would do a collection.
Because with Uncharted, they did the Lost Legacy and Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
But they're not doing Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 for some reason. I don't know.
I just think it's because
that's
I don't think they can
in generations part.
Yeah.
I feel like they said that. I feel like they said that so they can pick and choose what they want to make money on.
Exactly.
And so you don't have any expectations.
You have to remember though,
they have a dartboard and they're just throwing what they put on PC.
Well, you have to. You have to.
That's basically what it is.
I would hope not, because I mean they bought, because Sony bought Nix's. Sony bought Nix's, and Nix's specifically is a company. They are specifically a PC porting company. Yeah. So honestly, dude, I hate that analogy, because if Sony really is doing it like a dartboard and just picking and choosing what to play on PC, I was like, that's such a wasted
I like Khan's animation too. He was like
Resistance too.
Dude, that'd be such a wasted thing. Like, you bought a company that does nothing but PC porting, and if you're going to sit there and be picking and choosing, especially with such a huge market on PC, you can never deny that the PC market's a very, very large part of the consumer market, just as big as console is. So it's like
bigger.
Yeah, probably
bigger. Might be at this point. I'm not even sure though.
It's definitely bigger.
Because it keeps doubling pretty much every year.
Yeah, but only so many of those people actually have consoles. Well, PCs that could actually run good games. Most of them probably running on potatoes or something, right?
I mean, that's true, but most games are they've done it. Like, you have games where you have Warframe, for example, where it runs on a classic engine, but then it also has an option for enhanced graphics on like a
better
different engine.
computers.
Like like they work around
People
older
haven't.
hardware
Yeah.
because they know that they can't really alienate
Mhm.
all those people. So it takes more work, yes, but you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. You're catering to the entire PC community instead of like having to worry about all these people with older hardware. Like mine's not even that strong, dude. I'm running an RX 570, like in 16 gigabytes of RAM and like a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD or something like that. Like my PC is not particularly strong, but it gets the job done and it can still run a lot of the modern games and all of the current games that are coming out. You can tell where it struggles, but it's actually holding up relatively well still too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. What is your like what PlayStation game do you want ported the most as of right now? I'm assuming it's probably like Bloodborne or something, right?
I would love Bloodborne to be
Yeah.
ported to PC, dude. That's a one from software game I have not played yet.
Yeah, for
I
obvious
would play it
reasons.
on PC or a remaster on PlayStation, but
Yeah, the bare
Who knows?
minimum they should do something on PS5 or just a patch, you know, because I know they
Yeah,
patched some
do
PS4
something.
games. Like I think
Anything.
Ratchet and Clank got a 60 FPS patch.
Mhm.
What else got us? I think Ghost of Tsushima before it got the remaster had a 60.
Ghost of
FPS patch.
Tsushima before the remaster had a
Yeah,
60
yeah.
FPS patch, yeah.
God of War.
Yeah,
Oh, God of War
yeah,
also
God of
did
War
get a
God of
60.
War.
Yeah.
Last of Us Part 2 also.
Last
60
of Us
FPS
Part
patch.
2, Horizon Zero Dawn.
And they're not necessarily PS5 versions; they're just the PS4
Nope.
versions.
They're just
updated.
PS4 versions that are patched, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, I would love for them to port Bloodborne to PC. Like I've played like every single, with the exception of Demon Souls because I don't have, or Demon Souls remake because I don't have a PS5.
Yeah.
I've played every single From Software game, and I've had to settle for like the PS1 like demake that someone made of Bloodborne
Yeah.
or whatever, just because I've never played it,
We-
so I've had to settle
Do you
for
think?
that.
Do you think they're more likely to port Demon Souls or Bloodborne to PC?
They're more
Demon
than no.
You think Demon Souls is more likely to get ported?
No, I think Bloodborne is.
You think?
I on it. Bloodborne was the best selling. It topped their, if I'm not mistaken, it was topping their sales for quite some time.
Well, Demon
And
Souls is blue box, though, right?
yeah, Demon Souls is Blue Box, yeah,
No, Blue Point, right?
or Blue Point,
Yeah, Blue
Yeah.
Point. My bad.
Blue something,
Yeah.
Blue something, yeah.
Nothing is Blue Box. Nothing
Yeah.
is.
Isn't Blue Blocks that studio that's making that
The
board game or
Drifters.
something?
Abandoned.
Abandoned, yes. Aren't
Dude,
they like
that-
a whole scam or something?
Dude,
I heard
no,
that there was
that's
big
a
scam.
whole.
Yeah.
They're still defending that. That's a whole nother story, dude. That thing is
That
like a
company is a
whole
lie.
rabbit hole, dude.
That company's a
seen it.
Ponzi scheme.
I actually seen a little. So I watch some of Dreamcast guy every now and again just to see what he has to say, and he was talking about how I believe it's like Hassan or somebody. I don't remember the
The
guy's name.
director of Blue Box, yeah.
Yeah, he like messaged him and was saying that he would like to talk to him and do things, and he actually showed the message on his YouTube, and he was just like calling him out, and like you can tell that some fans, or if you want to call him, I don't think Dreamcast guy is that much of a fanboy, but I mean, if you want to say he is, sure.
That's debatable with him.
Yeah,
Who
it's
knows,
debatable.
bro?
He's kind of
He
hit
is.
and miss
Yeah.
with that accusation.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, he has some weird videos where it's like, okay, like with that whole thing he tried to start drama with what's that guy's face, Austin Evans. He started doing
Yeah,
that whole thing.
I remember
Even
that.
though
Yeah,
I remember
tried to
he
start a
got
whole
like so
bunch of
pissed
stuff
off.
with
It's like, yo, dude, he wasn't doing anything.
Oh,
he was
probably with
making
the
a whole
heat
he was
thing.
he was making a whole big deal out of literally nothing. But yeah, there's that whole situation. But other than that, who really knows where he stands?
I just thought it was really
honestly.
interested that I thought it was really interesting that there are some Sony fans out there that are so angry, and I kind of understand it because like You're told to download something. You're told, hey, meet me here at this time, and then just nothing happens, and then almost a year goes by, right?
Yeah, a lot of people are calling them con artists.
Well,
Freaking,
They
there,
are.
dude, there's this
Yeah.
whole because okay, like I said, I'm not the kind of person to just believe whatever I see, but like there's this it's hard to deny this like chart of like history that the studio has, and I'm very confused
Yeah, there's
as
that
to
whole
why
list where
Sony.
it's like
Yeah, there's
2017,
like
they
this
did this, they did this, they did that.
and all of it got
All
canceled.
canceled. Yeah, all canceled.
And it like
Yeah.
it blows my mind that Sony is still backing them, dude. Like I don't
They're actually like funding them. Like it's actually
no,
confirmed.
Yeah.
they're
Well,
they're
they're
part of
promoting it,
Sony's. Yeah, they're part of Sony's. Like I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's like if something was brought under Xbox Publishing, like they're being funded.
Yeah.
Regardless, because Sony's promoting them, but it's like, and they promoted them like really heavy for a time, dude. And it's like,
Yep.
Feels
and now
Crossfire
they're
messy, doesn't it?
no,
Yeah,
it
very
feels
Sony's
worse
doing
than
like that.
Worse than
Crossfire,
that.
dude.
At
I
least
don't know
Crossfire
if it's
came out.
worse until
At
the
least
game
Crossfire
comes
was an
out.
actual game.
I mean, unless they flat out don't come out with a game,
Yeah.
or they come
Yeah.
out with a game and it's somehow
Yeah.
worse than that game. Yeah,
Dude, like
I don't know.
the
For
creator
me, it
just
feels
came
like Crossfire
out.
until then.
He
Yeah, no, but
just
at least
came out
Crossfire
and
was an actual
said
game. You know, they actually had the game.
he like just because they started it up again with the whole like abandoned doesn't exist or whatever, and then the creator came out and said something about like
I think it was recently.
address the
Actually.
cancer. Yeah,
They
that
had
was
a whole
really
list,
recent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
like,
they
there's a
just brought up
message,
the
yeah.
list again, and I'm like, dude, I was like, how are you gonna fight that? I was like, the last thing you did is you teased it, but it was what you teased was already leaked. So which was like a 30-second like real-time engine footage or
Yeah,
whatever
like a guy
inside the
walking or
real-time
something, right?
experience.
Yep.
Yeah, and the real-time experience
Yeah.
app on PS5. So it's like, and there's been nothing else since then. And I'm like, dude, and the game got delayed. So
Of
I'm
course
like,
it did.
dude, I'm like, what are you gonna do? I was like, the closest thing someone got was something that got leaked ahead of time, and there's been nothing since. And you're saying you're hurt, but like I'm a lot of the like messages being sent to him aren't justified regardless, but it's like at the same time because there's some harsh crap being sent to him. Like
I can imagine.
I get the anger. The anger is justified. Some of the messages definitely aren't. But like regardless, dude, like I can't help but feel angry for the fans too, because they just have a really, really, really bad rap sheet. Like at this point, I think it's worse than EA's rap sheet
Mhm.
because, like,
It is.
dude,
Yeah, at least they
it's
released the
bad.
game.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in EA right now holds the record for like the most. EA's holding a record for like the most like downvoted comment
Mhm,
or something in like Reddit history for something concerning Battlefront.
mhm.
And they like
Yeah.
some a rep like responded, and it's like that holds like history right now for like 2.4 million downvotes or something like that. It's a lot. Their rap sheet is worse than EA's right now, dude. It's horrible.
Yeah, they're better
think
off
it's
just like
so
completely
weird.
rebranding their studio, honestly, at this point.
They're
Oh, Blue
better
Star?
at just
Fresh.
dissolving the
Start
entire
fresh,
studio.
Yeah. I think it's weird that PlayStation, because you guys brought that up, that PlayStation is associating with them.
Mhm.
That's the only reason that the fact that PlayStation has associated with them is the only reason that I have any shred of hope. Even if it is like, let's say hypothetically it was Kojima. It's not, but let's say it was.
Yeah, that's the other rumor.
Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't personally care because Kojima, I understand where he's an artist and like a super like insane sense, but
Yeah.
I like just not for me. But
Mhm.
the only thing that makes me think it could possibly be on that level is the fact that PlayStation associated with them at some
Yeah.
point. Other than that, if a PlayStation hasn't associated with these people, I would have no problem saying 110% it's a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact is PlayStation is still to my knowledge, still back in then. They might have gone kind of quiet on it, but they're still considered part of
Yeah.
the PlayStation Studios. So it's like until that day comes where Herman is like, nope, we're not working with the
Canceling it,
studio
yeah.
anymore, dude.
Yeah.
I will never understand that, or they need to show something more than a
guy
5-second a guy walking in
Yeah.
footsteps. You need to show something, dude. Like I will completely apologize profusely if they manage to pull like a game out of this, but like
just a 30-second trail. That's all I
yeah,
want.
show me a 30-second trailer, dude, and I will just come out and defend you and apologize. But like, you have nothing for anyone that even might be a fan to
Yeah.
hold on to. It's like that. I'm not. I don't even have a PS5, and that destroyed my confidence, dude, with their entire situation. That's how bad it is.
It's like every chance they get, every chance. I mean, well, not recently. They've been very quiet up until about March 31st. But before that, every chance they got to deny, like they at one point they said, "Okay, we're nothing to do with Konami. This is not Kojima. This is nothing like that." They said that once, and then people still thought it's Kojima. And every chance after that, they had to say, "We're not." They leaned into it. They just leaned into it.
And
they
I'm
were
like,
dropping
you're
Silent Hill teasers. They were dropping all sorts of stuff. Like, don't do that if you're not. Don't,
no,
because you're
people
gonna
are
get claimed.
craving,
trying to
dude.
get people riled up, probably, or something.
They are.
That's a bad idea because that entire Silent Hill fan base is craving.
They're so
Dude,
hungry right now.
They
for
are. They
something.
see like anything related to Kojima, and they're all like, "Silent Hill, where?"
They look outside. It's fog. It's like foggy. It's like Silent Hill.
Yeah,
it's like
dude,
anything. It's like
dude, I remember one time it was foggy here in Arizona, and then of course Silent Hill is trending.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah, right.
Dude,
They're
I
so
was
desperate.
like, for what reason, dude? So I'm hoping they release something, dude, because other than that, that hate is honestly at this point, and I'm probably the last person to even admit this, like that hate is very, very well deserved. Otherwise, dude, because like
But do you think Sony's ever actually gonna get Silent Hill back somehow? You think that's ever gonna happen? Or do you have like no faith in that?
I think Kojima's done with Silent Hill, to be honest, because he started PT, dude, and then after that, like people tried to recreate PT, and they actually got further, and then everything got shut down, like hard shut down. So as far as I know, dude, I'm honestly like pretty sure like Silent Hill's done. And I heard rumors that like PT like creeped the fuck out of like Kojima, because like I played the PT demo, dude, and like I was
scary.
I was
I wish I
freaking
downloaded that thing.
Dude, you don't want to. That was freaky. That was like
it's like some people say it's like one of the best horror games of all time.
Well,
and it's
yeah,
not even an actual game. It's just a demo.
It was just a demo, but dude, it was freaky. Like from like the bloody fridge to the fetus in the sink to just it was freaky.
Yeah,
dude.
maybe one day
and
I'll get
like
a modded PS4 and try it out.
Yeah, I remember like people tried to like mod it and recreate it, and then everything got shut down, dude. And I haven't been able to find anything on Silent Hill since, besides just rumors, which really are just people clamoring for it to come back.
Yeah, like the only way I see it happening is if Sony somehow gets the rights to Silent Hill, and then they get Kojima Productions to do something with it. Maybe that's the only way. That's the only way I even see it happening. I don't see Konami themselves stepping up and doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Doubt it. Konami probably.
They're
Konami probably. Yeah, Konami's probably done with.
Because the last time they touched something was Metal Gear Survive, and that was an absolute train wreck. That game. And
I don't think.
Yep, we're done. It was you don't remember Metal Gear Survive? It was like that zombie spin-off game that they released.
I don't think I got to play that. I heard of it, but I don't think I ever got to play it.
It was there's a reason you probably didn't play it. It sucked. So
yeah, things that suck tend to stay off of my radar.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's smart.
Yeah, it came out just right after. It was funny. It was like a spin-off, and it took place immediately after Metal Gear Solid 5. Like it was actually like the same cutscene, but it was just like they just kind of changed it so like all this zombie shit happened literally right after. Like it was just so stupid.
All right. Well, I think that's a good way to it's a good way to finish that topic. I think we talked
I think
a lot.
only I think it was just me. I brought up House of Dead, and then he brought up Xbox. I don't. Did you two guys bring up a weekly discussion thing or
There,
because I think we're just stretching Matt's the whole time. I think.
I mean, Matt kind of brought up the one I was going to talk about, which was the PlayStation Spartacus kind of stuff and whatnot. So I felt like we dove into that and then dove into Xbox. We talked about a lot of stuff. I feel like that's enough for that one. Unless somebody else has something.
Foremost, you got something?
I'm good.
Anything?
I'm good, dude.
Doesn't know.
All right, cool. Well, let's move to the fight. Right?
All right. Yeah, let's go.
We got Ryu versus Joe.
Yeah, so Ryu, we got Ryu Hayabusa versus Joe Musashi from. So Ryu from Ninja Gaiden. I'm referring more to the Xbox Ryu, not the NES one. And we got Joe Musashi, which is Shinobi, but I'm referring, from the Sega Genesis, like Shinobi 3, Joe Musashi. And I don't know, are you guys familiar with any of these characters?
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Ryu. Joe Musashi, not so much.
Same here.
I only know of him from like gaming magazines, but the NES is before like I didn't start playing. I started gaming like right after the Genesis, so like I never got to actually play.
Yeah, Joe Musashi was
any
pretty
of
much the
those
Sega
games.
Genesis. Like
Yeah, I
Shinobi,
never got to play. I started gaming right after the Genesis, so I never actually got to play anything from the Genesis. So I know of Joe Musashi, but I never got to play it. So like I'm probably inherently biased towards Ryu. Because I played the Ninja Gaiden games. I mean, I haven't played them in a long time, but like those games I know because I've had the chance to play them. I haven't been able to play any of the games with Joe Musashi in it, so I'm pretty biased towards Ninja Gaiden.
The thing with Ryu 2 is I don't know if because Ninja Gaiden 1 or Ninja Gaiden Black versus Ryu from Ninja Gaiden 2 is like a huge difference. Like because in Ninja Gaiden 1 for the Xbox, he's more like, it's more, slower, more strategic,
very slow, very stealthy.
Very, very slow.
You gotta be very,
that is true.
You gotta plan everything accordingly. But with Ninja Gaiden 2, it's chaos. Like there's like blood flying over the place. He's just like swinging the thing. You're like mashing the X button as fast as you can.
And that's why he wins, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's like 30 ninjas. There's like 30 ninjas like in the same room, and then there's like arms flying all over the place. Like I think literally right when you start the game, it's like that game is pure chaos. Ninja Gaiden 2. Like the moment you start the game, there's like a guy running at you trying to hit you. Like the moment you start. Like that's like the first thing that happens, just the guy running at you off screen trying to hit you.
Just the amount of the amount of insanity that's in that game. I mean, I gotta give it to my bro. Like he handled himself with some care. So I'd have to go with him because I mean, I'm not sure if you could put Shinobi in that same situation and it'd be so graphic.
Yeah, because Joe, he's got
Ryu is creative.
Yeah, maybe Hatsuma would have been a better fight.
He's incredibly creative too.
Yes.
You see an arm at one point and then just leg somewhere else.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think I gotta go. I gotta go Ryu.
I have to go Ryu.
Joe's got like infinite ninja stars though.
I mean, yes, but Ryu would probably just slice off his arms before he even
can't use ninja stars without hands.
And like, and let's not kid ourselves. Like Ryu is fast as hell as well.
He's
so like if you just throw in ninja stars, you're gonna have to come correct with that.
You switch a finger, he's already there.
Oh yeah.
He sees you crack that finger, your arm is already gone.
Right. Like that dude does not mess around. So that's how I feel. I feel like that is the universal answer, unless you have something to argue back.
See, I mean, he's got the scrolls, right? Just complete screen clearing, it moves, right? Like you'll pull up a scroll, just all fire through the whole screen. Everyone's dead. That's it.
But how are you gonna do that without arms?
Huh?
It always goes back to arms.
He's just so
can't- you
certain
can't
that he ain't gonna have no arms anymore.
No, man,
That's
when
what
he
he's
pulls
got.
out, when he pulls out that scroll, everyone stops. It's just him doing it, Everything stops, and just fucking it happens. At least in the
Ryu's
game, that's
not
what
gonna
happens.
right. He's not gonna be given the chance to do that, dude. Like I said, he sees he didn't even have to see a finger twitch. He sees a muscle twitch, and your arms.
He's also
are
got
gone.
like that. He's also got that like electric shield too. There's also
Nope.
he's got he has all these scrolls.
Nope.
I don't know.
He's not the
I don't
kind of
know.
person.
It all depends
Ryu-
on what the liars want to do.
He's like, bro, I was getting
Ryu's like-
attacked before the game even started, and you talking
Yeah,
about a
he's
scroll
like-
now?
He's like, I see threats before they're coming, dude. I know. Like anything that's a threat to Ryu is just like eliminated instantly.
Yeah.
So like, I can't, dude.
I'd have to say Joe would need to sneak up on bro to
That's
even
impossible.
have a chance. Like, I mean, you got to catch bro in the middle of using the toilet or something.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and you
Hold
still
his
and you
family
still
hostage
risking
or
it. And
something,
you still
dude, because like
you still risking your life while he holding the shit. He definitely with one arm, bro. But
Exactly.
Bro,
he doesn't even have to leave the toilet to kill you. You're just dead while he's still sitting.
you ever get killed by a motherfucker sitting on the toilet?
That'd be a horrible way to die.
That'd be a hell of a death.
Yeah, maybe Hatsuma would have been a better fight actually, because like that guy sure can make time stop. Like the way the moment he hits someone, they're just like frozen.
That would
Yeah.
be
And he just
be a
his
better
everyone
fight.
just fucking slashed. Everyone's just dead. Like,
That would
Yeah.
be a better fight. But like as it currently stands, dude, Joe is getting slaughtered on the spot. Dude.
I think so. I think
yeah, I
so.
guess
would
Joe's
get
a little
slaughtered.
bit more old fashioned. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's Ryu taking this one pretty easily.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's the vote. I guess there's not much I could really say. I'll just.
Anybody
the
could fight
if I
against
say anything else, it's just gonna make Joe's situation worse. I feel. So
You say anything else, the foremost is just gonna say, "Well, how you gonna do that without
He doesn't have any arms.
He doesn't have arms. Arms require a lot. A lot of things require your arms. If you don't have arms, you can't really do much.
Especially in a fight.
Yeah, if you're in a fight, what are you gonna do without your arms? You're gonna kick them? They'll just take your legs too, and then you have nothing.
All right. Now we're gonna move on to the next subject because, I mean, Joe just doesn't have any arms anymore, so the fight's over. All right, so now we move into the take of the week.
Okay,
Everybody got a good take?
I got one. PlayStation Essential, whatever it's called, being a better value than Game Pass.
No.
No.
That was firm, Matt. That was firm.
We're gonna
Straight firm no.
right now. No,
Never.
it is not ever. No, not unless they completely like unless dude, they'd have to kill off their third tier and then make the second tier much more enticing with day one games and access to full game streaming and everything else to even compete with Game Pass, because like that
Because Game
whoever
Pass got
says that,
PC, it's got console, you got
dude,
phone
whoever
streaming.
says that Spartacus or whatever is a better deal than Game Pass needs to go.
Yeah.
They're just you're in my eyes you're dismissed. I'm sorry, because like that in no world, dude, would that ever be.
But
Yeah,
Xbox
I-
has tiers
deal.
too.
Well, Xbox has tiers, yes, but you have like Like, what's it? You have Game Pass on consoles, you have it on cloud, you have it on PC. So
Yeah.
it's like Game Pass is everywhere, and then you have PlayStation Spartacus or whatever that's basically still
I
limited
remember when they
to
first
console.
announced it, and literally all the news outlets was like, PlayStation announces new subscription server, underwhelming compared to Game Pass. Literally every article it just says that
Yeah,
because they already know, you
because
know.
it is.
Yeah,
Because it
right.
is.
It
But
is, and
I always just
It,
see in the console war side, right? That's just how it always is with this kind
Yeah.
of stuff. People
Yeah.
always try to argue with this, say like, "Oh yeah, it's better," but they're just trying to stir up, you know, clout. I guess I don't even know how to
It's just
explain
not
it
even
properly.
nothing to do with console wars because I try very hard to avoid
Yeah.
putting my
yeah,
hat into
so
any sort of console war
I just
thing.
see this stuff pop up in my feed. I'm like, man,
I
Yeah.
see it all the time, and like I'm not one to really participate in it because I've
Yeah.
Yeah.
played every console, but it's
Yeah.
like I will put that to argument to rest if someone dares step foot in my feed and tries to say that it's a better deal than Game Pass. It's not.
Like
Period.
Definitely.
I've really seen people say it's the best deal in game. I'm like,
No, it's
Oh.
not. Dude, I don't
Not.
even have to buy I as of right now, as it stands, I do not have to buy an Xbox because I have Game Pass Ultimate
Mhm.
on my PC, and I'm totally fine with that right as of right now.
Technically,
Like
don't even need
I
the hardware. You just need a phone, technically, and you can still
yeah,
enjoy.
yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
dude, like I don't need an Xbox right now. Like I wanted to get an Xbox for Infinity, and then I realized that it was coming on Game Pass, so I just played it on Game Pass and then got rid of it when I was done. Like
Mhm.
it, it's the Game Pass is a great value regardless. Even if I'm not like a gigantic like console fan so much anymore, or like Xbox or PlayStation fan, it's like I'm almost entirely PC now. But it's like
Mhm.
Game Pass is such a good value, dude, for what you get. Even if you're someone like me that only plays like maybe 3 or 4 games out of it at a time, I still don't mind paying for it because I know I have access to a bunch of stuff at any given time, and I still have access to Xbox Cloud.
Mhm.
So it's like there's a lot of these games that I never got to play or that I just played on an Xbox One and I want to replay it on PC, and now I can because it's on Game Pass, like Sunset Overdrive, for example. I was locked to 30 FPS on the Xbox One, and then it's on Game Pass now, and now I can sit there play it on my PC, and it's like a totally different game.
Yeah, I always hate those people that try to twist it as a bad thing, saying, "Oh, they're saying that just because an Xbox game is on PC, it's not an exclusive." I mean, like, I don't. Why has it become a bad thing that Xbox is giving people options, right? It's like if they want to play on PC, they could play it on PC. If they want to play on
The
console,
whole
they could
thing
play it on
about that is
console,
why is
right?
Why
why
does
is
it?
an why does it yeah why does it matter?
Yeah, exactly,
Because
exactly.
like I guess for PlayStation it matters in the sense that PlayStation's specifically trying to sell you a box that plays their
Yeah,
games.
That is
Xbox
true.
they just want you on
They
Game
just
Pass.
want
yeah,
you. They
on the
just want you
ecosystem
there. It
of
doesn't matter
Game
how
Pass.
you play. Their
Yeah,
their
Exactly.
ecosystem is much bigger.
Because
Like
it's a PC.
yeah.
PlayStation is good, but like you have to have you have to have the console to be able to fully enjoy
Yes.
PlayStation.
And
So yes, you're right. They
but
have
I
to.
feel
Their
like a
intent
lot
is
of
to
the
sell it to you.
I feel like a lot of the discrepancy though is a quality thing, and that's the whole thing Jim Ryan was trying to talk about with his his virtuous
Oh,
whatever.
he
Yeah,
needs
what were
to
you saying?
stop with
but
that, dude.
but
That
like
needs to stop.
what he's trying but I think what they're trying to say a little bit, which I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate a little bit, I guess, but I feel like what they're kind of saying is, hey, we're not trying to spread ourselves out that thin and put everything everywhere because that's hard to do. I mean, you see it with, games being developed now. How many times do you get a game on PC that's not optimized properly? Or how many times have you played, Battlefield or Call of Duty and You know, it runs okay on this system, but don't run right on that system and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like PlayStation's kind of doing what they can to minimize the load that they kind of give to themselves, so they can keep pumping out this quality
It's
that
just
they
it's just one
that they
one
talk
That's
about.
piece of software and that's one piece of hardware and that's it. You gotta
that
work for
Yep.
this
that's where
PS5 and that's all you gotta worry about, pretty much,
like
right?
that's where Sony succeeds is they're not like my Xbox, which is Microsoft, but they focus solely on they work around one set of hardware specifically,
Yeah.
more or less, in their software, and they know it inside and out, which is why you have games like Last of Us 2, etc., which even if
Exactly.
they're exclusive to console are regarded as high quality games because Sony is diverting its resources specifically to that and only to that, which is why they can churn out such high quality games, which I understand. But I'm just more I'm more of a diversity person more so than I am quality. I like getting my value instead of paying for like one quality game. I'd rather have the option to play whatever I want
Mhm.
when I
Also,
kind of-
a
go
lot of
ahead.
people seem to forget that the reason why Microsoft even got into the whole console business in the first place is because gaming on PC was actually taking a downhill slide because how
at the
successful the
start
PS2
it
was
took
doing.
a
Sony
dip,
was the
yeah,
new computer,
Yeah,
but for
exactly,
the living
right?
room.
Yes.
Yep.
for the living room, yeah. But then
Yeah, so,
now, so
but
that's when
nowadays
they
it's like, okay,
started
now they
getting
can
into
pretty
the
yeah,
console business,
because
yeah.
with how PC is now, they're like, okay, we could pretty much go back to what we were doing
They
before,
can go,
you know,
dude.
and keep this
They
consoles
can
the same.
thrive. Like they at this point, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but they can wholly put the Xbox on the back burner, like hardware wise, and thrive solely off of PC
They
I
could.
mean,
at
well,
this
yeah,
point.
because they got the Microsoft operating system, right?
Yeah,
As
like
long as they
they
run
own
that.
and Windows still dominates
I mean,
pretty much the entire
Yeah, they
PC.
You could be
basically
right.
own
It could be a
PC.
race
Yeah.
to the PC at this
Mhm.
point because at this point we have these consoles in here,
Mhm.
but the better that they kind of can figure out optimizing for the PC at the same time, the more that they can kind of move towards crazier, more expensive hardware that people can just kind of figure out themselves
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
than them having to provide and give themselves that debt initially with console sales. Because, I mean, if you look at Xbox, their promotion isn't consoles as much as it's software. And it's always been like that. It was
Well,
like
they
that
are a
when
software company, right? First and
Exactly.
foremost.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
trying to pull the band-aid off without you noticing, essentially. So when you
Yes.
make that transition to PC, it feels super comfortable, and it's like, well, I was playing all these games on my Xbox, but you know, now I can afford a PC. I mean, a lot of people that decide to end up gaming on PC are really reluctant to go back to consoles after so. You
Yeah.
know? So I feel like they see a future within the PC being a main brand kind of thing later on down the road. And this
Oh,
is their
100%.
answer to it, while Sony is still trying to kind of
old
live
school,
in
I
the
guess.
past
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah.
Dude,
and
this is what
stick
I
you with their iPhone kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
like this is your
Yeah.
iPhone. You can't leave
I
this.
had said this like months ago that Sony is now basically playing catch up because
They
they've been
are.
so focused on the PS5 or PS4. They've been so focused solely on consoles, but now they're trying to do what Microsoft is already doing. They're trying to go back to their roots. So they're trying to go back to movies. They're trying to go back to what Sony was before, which was entertainment in general, not just consoles. But to me, it's too late. So now, instead of getting a foothold early, they've lost it. And now the market has already been established. And it's going to be really hard for Sony to break into it now because they've been so focused on getting you to buy into their ecosystem. But the thing is Microsoft's ecosystem is pretty much everywhere. It's everywhere. They own the PC market. Like I said, dude, I have my PC and I pretty much don't need an Xbox because I have Game Pass Ultimate, so I could play all their games, I could play all their day one games, and I have access to cloud. But if I want to play something like PS Now, which is pretty much only limited, to my knowledge, still to the console mainly and web, but the web version sucks and it's like I think you're like hard capped at 1080p and they don't even have full mouse and keyboard support. Like you have to have a DualShock controller to play, which is what steered me away from PS Now because it's like I don't like that you're forced to use a specific controller because I was like I play almost all my games with mouse and keyboard. I mean, I have like my little like Stadia controller right here if I want to like play games with controller, but like at least Xbox allows me that option. Does it work with all their games? No, but for most of their games, it recognizes the controller and lets me play with it if I want the option.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty
sure you can even play the Xbox. You do cloud stream and use a DualSense
controller.
I
have because I have the Razer Kishi, so it recognizes my controller.
I saw someone. I don't know if this is true. I'm gonna have to try it myself and confirm it. I saw someone talk about a scene in Halo Infinite, one of the best scenes in Halo Infinite, which I don't want to spoil or anything if anyone hasn't played it, but there's a scene in there where you can, like on a DualSense controller on PC, you can feel the heartbeat.
Really?
In the controller.
Oh, I heard about that. I haven't been able to confirm that either, but I heard about that. Yeah.
I thought that was really cool that an Xbox first-party studio went out of their way to add features to a PlayStation 5 controller.
That's interesting.
Knowing that people were going to play their game with that controller on a PC. I thought that was awesome.
The PS5 controller in DualSense is a really nice feature. From what I can gather. But yeah, the fact is that Xbox went out of their way to integrate a feature that would take advantage of DualSense. And Sony's supposed to be their rival, but it's like that there's going to be people with the DualSense controller playing Halo. So it's like, why not do that? It's like a nice little Easter egg for people who probably weren't expecting.
Is there PlayStation button prompts as well when you play Halo with a PlayStation controller? Yeah,
there should be.
I believe so. Yeah, it changes your button prompts. Yeah.
You even get trophies instead of
yeah, imagine it does like the trophy sound effect.
No, but the way I kind of think of these two companies going against each other, which is kind of a fun way to think of it, is like it feels like Microsoft's kind of the public school-ish like peace and love family, where PlayStation feels very religious, private school. You were with us.
Well, actually, a lot of people need to also realize that PlayStation is like that's where Sony gets a lot of their money. Is just the whole PlayStation, brand and everything, right? Meanwhile, Microsoft they barely made any money off Xbox, especially during the OG Xbox era. I don't think they made a buck. They lost money on the OG Xbox.
Yeah.
And then on 360,
they still sell their consoles at a loss.
Pretty much. Yep. Well, I mean, just in general, I think the 360 made them a bit of money, but even then, Microsoft never really needed to do Xbox in the first place. I mean, they're good, right? They're set, right? It's kind of like there's almost like a side project for them. Meanwhile, Sony needs to have PlayStation. They need to make sure, okay, we got to make sure we're doing everything right. We can't screw anything up. Meanwhile, Xbox is like, okay, we could take risks. We could lose $1 billion. It's all good. Let's throw this on the table. If it doesn't work, who cares? We could afford it. We could afford that, right? So meanwhile, Sony can't really take those kinds of risks because they need PlayStation to be a huge seller. You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Well, no, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, Sony depends so
Yeah, they just
much
can't make
on
those risks, you
selling
know?
you. Yeah, Sony relies a lot on you buying the console itself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like if you don't buy your console, it's like Sony's basically sitting dead in the water because
Yeah.
they're not really anywhere else. PS Now
Yeah.
is barely a presence. It doesn't have, you can't really even count it because they don't even really have mouse and keyboard support like Game Pass does. So it's like their
Yeah.
ecosystem is very, very, very small. And like I said, they're just stuck. They're stuck playing catch up, dude. And I
Mhm.
said this a long time before I even met you guys. I think I
Mhm.
had, like I was saying this, I was like, Sony's gonna end up playing catch up because they're focused so hard on expecting everybody to just buy into the console.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's not going to happen because people were making fun of Microsoft for not focusing on the Xbox and be like, hey, why aren't you guys trying to show this off, and
Mhm.
they're just branching off. But the thing is clearly
Mhm.
it's paying. They're everywhere. And the name of the game now isn't so much big fireworks and show what you can do. It's accessibility because now that's what matters the absolute
Yeah.
most, especially with everything that's been going on in the world. And you're starting to see that is accessibility matters no matter where you're at or what you're playing. If games are accessible to everybody, then it's a win-win for everyone. And Sony kind of fuck themselves basically because it's like if you can't get I know that they're recovering from the chip shortage still.
Yeah.
So
Everyone is really. I mean,
yeah, so it's like but the thing is even if everyone is suffering, Microsoft again still has the market to fall back on regardless. Sony
Yeah.
doesn't because they rely specifically on their consoles. So it's like yeah, everybody's suffering, but Xbox still has the PC market
Mhm.
to
Yep.
fall back on.
Also, what do you
Regardless.
think? What do you think of Sony making more PS4s during this shortage instead of just making the? Since I know
they're
they've been
wasting
making.
money, dude.
Yeah, they've been actually making a lot more PS4s as well as making PS5s. Do you think they should just
They boosted. They
Yeah,
should just focus on making PS5s because it's like,
especially during the shortage too, right? I assume they'd
well,
want to
yeah, because
prioritize the PS5, but I'm not.
you're it's like they're making PS4s like to prop them up, I guess, until the chip shortage is resolved. But the thing is that that hardware can only take you so far.
I mean,
So
it's only got like
Yeah.
3 years left in it, probably, right?
yeah,
assume.
I
Like
don't think
that.
it's gonna last more
Yeah.
than 2, to be honest with you.
You know,
So
I
it's
feel
Yeah.
like
I feel like they made that move as well because they're so far behind on their PC ports and stuff like
yeah,
that.
that
So like
it's like a prop up.
so how else are we gonna be able to move these PlayStation games if we don't have any PS5s to sell and we ran out of selling PS4?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so right now I felt like it was like last kind of thing that they could think of to do to be able to continue to sell games, especially as new games come out. They want to be able to have console sales, especially when there's a big pause with the new consoles in between all these chip shortages and whatnot.
That is
Yeah.
very true.
But don't they have to use those same chips to make PS4s though? So I'm not sure.
Well,
Yeah, but it's like a lot less. It's a
It's
lot
Exactly.
less.
the manufacturing cost is a lot cheaper to
Yeah.
focus on making PS4s than it is for a PS5 because they can make them in much larger quantities because it doesn't require anywhere near as much. But I said that hardware isn't gonna last much
Yeah.
longer. So really they're shoving all of this money towards making PS4s and they're not going to be able to keep up
Like, is Xbox even
much
still
longer.
making Xbox Ones? Like, I don't even think they are.
No,
How would you
I don't.
feel? How would you feel
Discontinued.
to go to the store, buy a PS4, and then 2 years later they stop making games for it?
Dude, I would
That's
be
it.
pissed. That's a waste of
bad.
money.
Yeah, it's like
That's-
$300 you're spending.
Yeah,
on it.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that'd
an
be bad.
You
absolute
could have got a
waste of
Series S for
money.
that much.
Yeah,
be
and the
like
Series S would be holding up for years after that. Like
Yeah.
it,
yeah.
they're it's severely. It's like Sony, whatever Sony has in cash, I guess, which I keep hearing about how Sony apparently all of the Sony fan base is like Sony has all this cash in hand, but I was like, I don't think they do. I think they're throwing all of that into making PS4s, and they're wasting their time and their money because they're trying to basically stay relevant, which is why now they're also relying Sony's backpedaling and trying to push out movies and stuff now because they need additional revenue
Yeah. I mean,
to
Spider-Man
try
did
to
really
keep
well
up
for
during
them.
the chip shortage. Well, yeah, that's the thing, but it's like Sony at this point is stuck relying. They can't venture out
Mhm.
so much anymore. Sony has to rely on. They're forced to rely on their recognizable IPs. Like they can't afford. I'm almost positive Sony can't afford to venture out right now. Like you keep hearing about Haven and all this other stuff, and they keep preaching about it. But Haven's probably about 6 years off from producing anything
Even
viable
like
for Sony.
even like you said, how they don't want to really take much risks anymore. They Japan studio, like a studio that's been with them for like 20 years. I think they're releasing some games like Gravity Rush. They weren't really selling all that well, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, we're shutting you down. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're not
and
making enough money. That's it. You're done.
that's another thing that
Yeah.
screwed them because like Sony Japan was a very large part
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Of
Sony's
the whole
identity.
history. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that blows
Like
my
Shadow of
mind,
the
and they
Colossus.
yeah,
You know,
they
Ape
try to
Escape.
say that it's still alive by because you have like one
Team
team or something.
or something.
Team
Yeah.
Asobi, but they're working on
Yeah.
Astro's Playroom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I was like, this isn't it's not the same.
Yeah. It's a
You
shitty thing to
basically
do for
killed
like a
off
studio
your
that's been with it.
identity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
I was
shitty
like,
thing to
they've
do with a
been with
studio
you
that's been
for
with you for 20
years.
years, right?
Yeah, I
Ever
was
since
like,
the PS1.
their Sony Japan is what got PlayStation on the map in the first place, and it's like they basically it's not gone, but you might as well consider it gone. I guess
Like
it's
a good
all
amount
but
of them left, that's for sure.
yeah,
Because they
it's
just
totally
kind of
it's
took that whole
they
team and split
well
them up,
yeah when
right?
Sony made that announcement, as far as I know, most of the Japan devs were just like, okay, we're leaving you, we're done.
Yeah. But even the guys that are like even the guys that were with doing Gravity Rush, those guys made their own studios, like
Yeah,
indie
they
studios.
just branched off and
So,
made their own studios now,
yeah.
and Microsoft's gonna end up picking them up, dude.
Oh,
I'm telling it's
imagine that. That'd be
I
crazy.
have no doubt Microsoft's just gonna end up picking them up because
Oh man, what a
Sony
twist of
basically
fate.
like threw them out and
Yeah.
left them
Interesting.
to dry.
Yeah, that'd be very
Basically,
interesting. Imagine the creators of Gravity Rush on an Xbox exclusive game. That'd be
I'm
crazy.
watch it happen, dude. Watch it happen.
The creators of Shadow of the Colossus, and it's like Xbox Game
Boy.
Pass.
Well, you even well, it,
Lose their mind.
it's like, dude, like PlayStation is relying on Microsoft for a lot of things right now. They rely on them for Azure. They rely on them for a lot of stuff right now, dude. So it's like basically Microsoft does, in a way, own PlayStation right now because they're using Microsoft's back end.
Oh, that's rough.
They
I
are,
didn't
dude.
say it.
It's like I
Take a sip
I
of water from that.
dude, I have no other way to explain that, dude, because it's like all of Sony's back end stuff is all Microsoft, all of it. So it's
Yeah.
like because they were that's why the PS3 was so easily hackable. Then they switched to Microsoft using Azure, which is when they started charging you for online,
They did
if I'm
since the
not
PS.
mistaken.
No, I think they're. I don't know if they have switched to Azure yet. I'm not sure though.
No, they use Azure for
I know
a
they're
lot
in
of their
talks of
backend.
it, but I'm not sure if it actually went through.
They've if I'm not mistaken, I remember a few years ago, like before the launch of the Series X and PS5, I think they announced that that
Like, I
the
know.
money was handed over.
Yeah.
They're
I know
they're
some
already
teams in the
they're
work,
already
but
it's might not be in 100% capacity, but
yeah.
they are 100% using Azure for their backend right now because Sony doesn't have it's either they rely on Azure or they approach Google, and Google's off is doing its own thing right now. Google's staying far the fuck. Despite what people think, they're staying far the fuck away from Sony and Microsoft. They're letting them do their own thing, despite what people might say is Google's trying to compete with Sony and Microsoft. No, they're not. So it's like Sony's only option is, hey, we need Azure for your back end, which is why I guarantee you're going to start. I don't know if some games have had it, but you'll start seeing games where it has a like Azure PlayFab and stuff like that in the game logos.
Well, I
Because
guess
they're using
it's a bit of a give and take relationship because I'm pretty sure the Xbox uses Blu-ray, right? And Blu-ray is actually a Sony thing.
well,
So,
that is true.
So I'm
But,
pretty
like,
sure
Blue-
I'm
It's a very small amount when you come to freaking.
Yeah, if you're gonna
I mean,
talk
how
about
many
give and
games
take, it's like
how many
are-
games are really physical compared to, you needing to pay for cloud service? That sounds
Because
like
they're-
kind of a big difference.
it's Azure, AWS, and GCP, which is Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. Basically, they're the three that are taking up the entire cloud infrastructure. Right now, all three of them have made serious gains in market share. As far as I know, I think AWS is still leading. Google's catching up, as they jumped up like 23%. And you have Azure that's still holding strong. So it's like, and Azure is spread far because Microsoft basically got their hands in everywhere and was like, hey, we have Azure here. You can use it, and we have servers everywhere that you
what
can
does
rely on.
PlayStation? Because I know PlayStation now was using the Gaikai servers that they bought like years ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
What are those like? Like what are those servers like right now? Like where are those?
Dude, I think Gaikai is very, very.
because I think they also
those
bought
servers are like
OnLive as well.
isolated. Well,
Because I'm
they
not sure how
bought
much
they bought OnLive, but all those servers that was OnLive was absorbed into Gaikai, I think.
Because I'm
when
pretty
they
sure that's
bought
what they're using
OnLive.
for PS Now. Are those servers?
Well, they're using those cloud servers, yes, but that's why PS Now is hard capped to 1080, and you can't. It's why their quality is capped at what it is because they're using that old generation cloud tech that they acquired from OnLive, and they're still relying on Gaikai to hold it up. But it's like it's very, very solitary. It's confined. It's like being stuck to imagine like a grid and it's stuck to one little square. And that's it. Meanwhile, you have Amazon, Microsoft, and Google basically taking up the rest of the grid and their cloud services. So it's like they have it, but it's very, very
There's no progress that's ever been made
insignificant.
on it. Yeah.
They can't make progress without relying on someone else who's made more technological advancements and stronger servers. It's like Sony has to branch out to someone at this point. They have to reach out because they can't rely on themselves. So they're like, we might as well just reach out to Microsoft. So like I said, dude, Microsoft owns Sony regardless. You could try to argue that they have Blu-ray, but Blu-ray is so it's so
But
dude,
like, wait,
it's so
how
I'm
much
gonna change your name to No
does-
Fucks Foremost.
it's
Just letting
dude,
it fly.
it's
You're
so
just letting it fly.
insignificant.
But like, how much money does Sony make of every Xbox that's sold because of the Blu-ray on it? Like, what percentage do they get?
Probably nothing
Or
compared
maybe like
to
10%.
what
Probably almost nothing.
it's probably compared to what Microsoft is getting off of having Sony use their back end. It's like pennies. It's like paying $100 to a penny in pennies. Like it's not. It's like Microsoft is like the swear jar your grandma used to have, where it's like every time Sony fucks up, you just pay up Microsoft because it's like,
Yeah.
The freaking analogy.
dude,
I love that.
Oh man,
Dude, they-
this
Analogy.
is getting
they
wild.
have to. I just like no, dude. No matter which way I look at it, I'm seriously the type of person to look at things from like all kinds of angles, and like I can't see a way where Microsoft isn't saying Sony, you have to use us. Basically, like I don't. They have to use them to host their online. They probably have to use them for a bunch of other stuff. So their Blu-ray doesn't mean shit to Microsoft.
Yeah, I love how you laugh every time you say blue right now.
I'm pretty sure Sony's gonna watch this and they're gonna buy Stadia just to piss you off.
Dude, they're
How
not,
would you feel about
Sony's not touching Google. I'm telling you that now. You guys can make fun of that, but they're not. They're paying no attention to Google right now. Their concern is with trying to get out of debt with Microsoft right now. So they're not. Their concern is not Google, and it shouldn't be their concern right now. Sony's not. Dude, Sony's talking about we're gonna make all these acquisitions, and I don't think that's
Yeah, we acquired
true.
Google.
No,
Imagine.
hell no, that's never gonna happen. Google,
Yeah, they're worth more than them. Yeah.
Yeah, Google's worth way more than Sony. They're gonna swat them down and just be like, no. So it's like Sony succeeds in quality, but they don't have quantity and they don't really give you many options at this point. It's either you buy into the console
or you're not playing our games.
or you're not playing your games. Yeah, and it's like that's a bad thing to do right now because it's like you're suffering from a chip shortage. And people already can't buy. They can't, it's not that they can't buy it, but they're already struggling to find consoles still. And Sony has nothing to rely on except their movie business. And they've been out of the game for so long on that it's like
Also,
baby steps
COVID
again.
hasn't helped with the movie business either.
No,
too, right?
COVID
So-
hasn't helped either. COVID like basically crippled the movie business up until recently. So it's like, and it's still kind of like moving along. So it's like, either way, dude, Sony's screwed. They're just like, I'm not even trying to turn this into like a console where Sony's
I
just.
didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Most of the
Sony
people that
is
are
not
watching are
gonna
probably
last.
like, no, they're not, dude. Like Sony is stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. That's the only way to put it. They have to focus on recognizable IPs because they can't really venture out like Microsoft can. And they're going to have to rely on those recognizable IPs to make money to be able to venture out. They can't do anything with Haven because Haven's not going to put out anything for at least the next 7 years.
7
Guaranteed.
years.
No,
another
guaranteed.
year?
Seven
Dude,
years.
Haven's not going to produce anything for quite a
PS6 will
while.
finally get something.
I don't think Haven's going to produce anything for quite a while, dude. So like,
How big is the studio though?
Haven is probably about like 25 or no, actually no, it might be more than that. I don't know how big Haven is, but because Haven jumped from quite a few people. Or Jade, before it became Haven, Jade, that team hasn't grown and it hasn't taken away because wherever Jade goes, her team goes. So it's like she's been with the same team for I don't know fucking how long now. So her team I don't think her team is that big, but it's very highly regarded. It's not big, but it's highly regarded and they're a tight-knit team from what I know. But they're basically Sony. What Sony's going to do with them is say, "Hey, we have Haven. Hey, we're working on a new IP, but they're not going to have anything tangible to actually show in quite some time with them. So it's like
and
they
it's also like an
They
initiative
could have
as
been
well.
working on something for a while, and now they just got purchased, though.
And that's kind of what
Yeah.
I think. That's kind of what I think.
you could, but the thing is you would try to show something at this point, dude, because Sony can't afford to sit there and hold a poker face the entire time and say, hey, this is what we got now. Because at some point you're gonna lose the consumer's attention, especially with their attention spans now, where it's like if you wait too long, they just stop caring.
Mhm.
Just like Abandoned is a perfect example. If you don't show
Yeah.
shit, they stop
Abandoned is
caring,
very
and
good.
then
Yeah,
they
people are
That's an
like,
excellent
yeah, it's a
point.
scam.
yeah
Everyone
they
thinks it's a
they
scam
turn
now.
on you.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
and it's good. The same thing is going to happen to Sony. Is like
He said the
if
whole
they wait
company.
too, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
The
if
whole
they
thing.
don't show,
Go complete belly
dude,
up.
if they don't show anything worthwhile, they're not going to like. I think the only thing that I can really see from Sony right now is like you have the God of War IP, which again is a recognizable IP that
Spider-Man
they're
as well.
relying on. Yeah, so they're relying on God of War. They're relying on
Spider-Man is
Spider-Man.
huge. Yeah.
Last of
They're
Us,
re-
Uncharted.
They're relying on
Yeah.
Last of Us. They're relying on Guerrilla, which are all amazing studios. I'm not denying that, especially Insomniac and Guerrilla.
Insomniac is carrying the PS5 right
Oh,
now. in my
100%,
opinion.
Yeah.
dude.
Thank God they got
100%.
Insomniac. That was like the best purchase they ever made.
But it's like
'Cause-
they can only rely on them for so long. It's like you can't. It's like using them as a crutch. You can only use them
I mean,
for
they announced
so long.
Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine in the same conference, you know?
Well, yeah,
It's-
but Wolverine's not coming out
Yeah,
until
that's
like
gonna be
I
a
would say
while, but
Wolverine's not going to come out till like you might. I don't think like late 2024, and that's at the earliest.
the thing is, Insomniac, they just pump out games and they're always like it's quality and they're always
Their
firm.
games are
They're really
quality.
firm with their release dates. Like
Well, that's-
2023, like I believe Spider-Man 2 is gonna come out in 2023.
Well,
Like, I have
that's
no
because
doubt
Sony.
it's gonna
Yeah, I
That,
believe
that
that.
goes back to
You
our
know?
earlier thing. Is because Insomniac relies specifically. They work specifically around Sony's hardware
Yeah.
24/7, which is why they can throw out such high quality games in such a short amount of time.
Mhm.
Because they don't focus on anything else, to my knowledge, except Sony's hardware and taking advantage of it, which is why their games are so good in such a short amount of time. So yeah, you're right. When they say there's a release date coming, they'll hold firm to that release
Yeah.
date. But it's like you can't rely on those like 3 studios
Yeah.
forever, dude. You can't. No matter how you're playing on nostalgia, and nostalgia's only going to carry you.
I mean, I guess what you're
So
saying
far.
is kind of the fair point I was making about Xbox earlier is like, like we just like there is a big tunnel of darkness. And there's probably a lot of stuff going on and we just don't know what's going on. The only difference between Xbox and the PlayStation right now is that the PlayStation has just recently came out with quite a few things. You
Yeah.
know, and some of those things were made by Xbox studios.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
I mean, you take away 2 of those games from Xbox, and PlayStation looks even lighter than they already were before. So could you imagine not having Deathloop at all last year and just only having Kena right there? Deathloop did great at the award show.
Deathloop did great at their award show, and I played Deathloop, dude. Deathloop is actually a really
Really good.
wild game. It's really good to play, and I like the entire concept of being stuck in a time loop and basically doing things all kinds of different ways until you can just do it all at once. I like that entire concept. I like the entire game. But yeah, you're right. I can't imagine being stuck where Deathloop or anything didn't come out and you're just stuck with Bridge and Kenna, which is a cute game and it's really dark and it's a good game, but it's not enough, dude. Like Kenna was like that game that came out, got awards like briefly, and then it just kind of vanished into obscurity after like 2 weeks. And that's
Yeah.
what's
I forgot it
happening
came
with a
out. I
lot
was
of
like, oh
their
yeah,
games.
that game.
Yeah, that's what's happening is like it's like a placeholder basically. It's like, hey, focus here for a couple of weeks and then
Like,
you
keep them
won't
busy.
hear anything about it anymore. They'll focus on that game. Like I saw nothing but Ken on my timeline, and I was posting about it too for like
It's a
2 or 3
fantastic
weeks.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a great
I
game.
heard a lot
but then
more.
It is.
But it
after
doesn't
that
have
rush,
that clout. You're right, Foremost. It does not have
it
that
doesn't have
clout.
lasting power, dude. It's gone. So
Okay.
it's like
Yeah.
if you don't have something to keep the attention, it's just
Mhm.
gone. The game's still there, but it's not something that keeps grabbing attention over and over and over again. Like Elden Ring.
It
I saw a
isn't
lot
like
more.
super replayable like a lot of other games are for many people, especially
Right.
without that boom popularity factor where it's just like, man, like I know that. I mean, like Elden Ring, for instance, it's like you beat
Yeah.
that game, and all
You guys
your
are still
other
talking
friends,
about it.
and all your other friends are still playing it. And even though you may have beat the game, you feel obligated because so many
Yeah.
other people are still playing it. So you
I
hop
was
right
just
back
talking-
in.
I was just talking to one of my close
Kevin
friends
doesn't
who's
like
still
that.
in North Carolina. I told him, I was like, hey, because he's been playing Tiny Tina or whatever. So I was like, hey, I was like, get Elden Ring. I was like, that game has a lot of replayability.
Yeah.
He plays on PC just like I do. I was like, dude, I beat the game at 100+ hours, and I'll play it all over again, and just to help you out, because I'm gonna end up finding stuff that I didn't even know was there in my first playthrough. Because Elden Ring is a perfect example of a game that has staying power, and it just keeps grabbing attention over attention over attention, to the point where it did, and I don't care what anybody says, it overshadowed Horizon Forbidden West for like a while, to the point where a bunch of devs were trying to shit talk Elden Ring
Yeah.
because it basically overshadowed a lot of stuff, because they didn't think they thought Elden Ring was releasing at a bad time, and it basically grabbed everybody's attention, and it
Yeah.
stood there. So that's the perfect example of a game that has the clout and the staying power to just be in your face 24/7, because it
I mean, hell,
has
let's
a
even
lot of
take that game away and say Halo.
Okay, Halo, same thing. It has a bunch of replayability. Even if you stick to just the multiplayer alone, you can play it
Yep.
over and over and over again.
Yep.
Sony doesn't have that right now, dude. It's like you play their
Not
games and it's like
That's true.
one and done.
Ooh, that's a good point,
Like-
man. Damn,
Like, dude,
that's
I
a good
played-
one.
it
You
is
beat
true.
a Sony
Like,
game and you're like, all right, I'm moving on.
I-
You ain't
Yeah,
lying.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
bought God of
A
War.
nice-
I
a
bought
really
God
good
of War
movie.
Ragnarok. I bought God of War Ragnarok on
No.
PC.
You mean
The
You mean
the
first
the
one.
gra-
You mean
2018
the
is what I meant.
2018.
Yeah,
No,
PS4, yeah.
not Ragnarok. Yeah, the PS4
Yeah,
version.
you're not.
Yeah.
You're going,
I
I
the
wish.
2018 version. I bought it, played it on PC, haven't touched it since. After I beat
Yeah.
it, because their games they're good games, but they're one and
One and
done, and I
done,
have
yeah.
no reason.
You can only
play it.
experience every game I play from PlayStation. I thought the first Last of Us is like, this is incredible.
Mhm.
Once I beat it once, it's like I'll start another playthrough. I'll never finish it again.
Yeah.
Last of Us Part 2, I'll never finish that game again. It was incredible. You can't experience that game twice. You
Yeah.
can't have the first. That game's
That
not going to
first
blow your
experience
mind
again.
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the Halo is like The Office compared to where, I mean, you can rewatch the hell out of that show, where the PlayStation games, like what you just said, like Last of Us 2 is like Bad Boys 2, where it's like 3 hours long, and it's just like, all right, I've seen this. I can
Yeah.
see another piece of it, but I'm not sure if I want to sit through all of that all over again.
Yeah.
Because,
And-
I mean,
Yeah.
although it's good, I already know what's going to happen, which, I mean, you can say that with a lot of games that you replay. But B, it's so story driven that it
Yes.
takes a lot of that just screwing around, I already beat the game fun out of it.
Like,
Yeah, the only way I could see
example-
myself. Oh, sorry.
No,
The
you
only
can
way I could say, the only way I could see myself for playing those type of games, it's like, okay, maybe 5 years when I forget some things here and there, maybe I'll replay it, but like not like back to back, right? It's like
Yeah,
you
like
gotta wait, like not 5 to 10 years down
It's
the
like
road.
I want to play like Horizon Zero Dawn again. It's by Sony. I bought it on PC because it finally hit PC, and it's like I played through it. I played through the Frozen Wilds DLC, and it's like I want to. the only reason I actually physically want to get back into that game is because I'm a big photo mode buff and it has a good photo mode. And I would
Great
sit
photo.
there. Yeah, and I would sit there and do it specifically for photo mode and nothing else because it's like the game itself. I'm sorry.
You're on the PlayStation now?
Turning
He's
it off. I just
Yeah, I was
But
on that
it's
whole
like,
time.
Oh,
hey,
Why you know?
I see no reason to hop back into Horizon because it's like the game. I can't play the game any differently than
There's
I
no
already
playing
did.
Probably like a
greatness.
lot of side stuff there. Probably a lot of side
Oh,
stuff in Horizon
I
Zero
did
Dawn.
all of the side stuff. That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
you can't play the game plays out
Yeah.
the same way no matter which way you do it because like Ham said, it's all story driven and the stories are good, but it doesn't have any replayability anymore. So it's like you can't do anything different. You can pick a different conversation line, but it doesn't change the impact of
Yeah.
what ultimately
Yeah.
Story
happened.
or anything, yeah.
So
It's just a
it's
different
like
response. That's
yeah,
pretty
it's
much
just
it.
a different response. And
Yeah.
you might be able to like hear different things, but like how the game plays out doesn't change. So
Yes,
it's
no,
like
no Fallout 3 or anything like that.
yeah,
It's
dude.
not a
So it's
Fallout
like
3.
yeah, there's no different endings. There's no nothing. It's just you play through
Yeah,
the game.
Starfield's probably gonna have a lot of replayability. That's gonna
Oh,
have a lot of
100. Dude,
replayability.
Starfield is going to be like Final Fantasy, where you could sink like 700-800 hours into that game.
yes.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's
no
exactly
problem.
why. I'm sorry. That's exactly why. And I'm only going to say this because I don't want to like harp on it, but that's why I don't agree with Sony raising the price of their games.
No, yeah,
Specifically Sony.
Sony, you're paying $70 for a game that's basically what Xbox is charging 60 for, and all their games have replayability, and you can
Yes.
play it in a lot more places. So
Yes.
why dude? Again, it's like you paying for a Ferrari when really Ferraris suck as cars, and you can get nicer cars for cheaper because you're paying for the name. You're paying for the
Yeah.
fact that you're paying.
I've heard
You're
that
playing
though.
on a
Ferrari, you're
yeah,
paying for the name,
you're
and you're
paying
paying for
for
the
the
looks,
name.
but their
You're
car
playing.
isn't the
You're
best.
you're
I've heard
paying
that
them.
before.
You're paying them $70 to say, "Hey, I'm playing on a PS5. I'm
in the
playing a
club.
Sony
Yes.
game.
Yeah.
I'm in the Cool Kids Club." Yeah, but you're
Yeah.
not. It's not any
value isn't
different
there.
from paying.
Yeah.
Yeah, the value for
Yeah.
your money isn't there, dude. And I
Mhm.
can't justify. That's why if I were to get a console, I would honestly rather sit there and go for Xbox's All Access and just get a Series X with 12 months of Game Pass
Mhm.
and just call it a day because I can't justify getting a PS5 outside of playing maybe games like Ghost of Tsushima and stuff like. The thing is, but those games are gonna end up getting an eventual PC port because
Even if they
Sony
don't,
has.
you could emulate it too.
Yeah,
So
dude, I could just emulate it later. So it's
eventually
like
it'll happen.
eventually. So it's like Sony. It's either Sony relies on the PC market now, or
People are gonna
they're
do it themselves.
never.
Yeah.
Or yeah, dude. But the thing is, Sony doesn't have. Sony has to rely on Microsoft to be able to get into the PC market because Microsoft owns the PC market. Like I said,
Yeah.
dude,
They own the
no
operating
matter
system,
which way
right?
you look at it,
Yeah.
no matter which way you look at it, Sony is under Microsoft's foot, basically at this point. No, like, no matter what,
Oh
dude,
my
it's like,
god.
This
That's
guy
three
is just
times.
absolutely flaming him. He's all
Three
like,
times.
dude, and
That's
say
number
this as
three.
someone.
That's
I
right,
say
three.
this. I say this as someone who was primarily PlayStation. I played on the PS1. I played on the PS2. I played on the PS3. I played on the PSP. I got the PS Vita. I played on the
You
PS4.
got the Vita. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore. I made the
Yeah.
mistake of selling it to my friend's dad. But it's like, like I said, this comes from someone who grew up playing mostly PlayStation. I've played both sides, but it's like I
Mhm.
was almost entirely PlayStation. I used to think Xbox sucked for like
Mhm.
the longest time. I used to be a huge Sony fanboy, and it's like
Yeah.
now I don't see the appeal in it.
Yeah.
at all. And it's like killing me on the inside because I used to do it. It's like, and now I don't see the appeal in getting a PS5 outside of maybe the cool things you can do with the Unreal 5 engine demos that they'll be throwing out on occasion, or the real time experience app.
Yeah, when is that supposed to happen?
Um, dude, Unreal 5 is probably, you're not going to be able to see anything tangible. Probably the games coming out in the next 3 years
Yeah.
will be on Unreal 5. That's guaranteed.
You think
Because
the
there's
PS4 is going
already-
to be supporting the Unreal 5? No
Hell,
chance.
hell no, that hardware can't support Unreal 5.
Yeah.
Dude, Unreal 5 would burn the PS4's hardware. So it's like, because you have high tier PCs that struggle to keep up with it sometimes. So it's like a PS4 would never be able to support anything in Unreal 5, dude. PS4 is deadlocked to Unity and Unreal 4. That's it. It can't go anywhere else.
Well, and any other engines that would obviously.
Well,
be
any
there.
other engines that
Yeah.
existed before it, yes.
Yeah.
But like you have, for example, you have CD Projekt Red. They're not using, they're not
Wait, what engine
using.
do they use? They have their own custom engine. Right?
They
Use
have
Red
Red.
Engine.
They have
Yeah.
Red Engine 4, but for
Yeah.
the new Witcher game, for example, is
That's
going to be
Unreal.
on
Yeah, that's
Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
So it's like everything is switching to Unreal Engine 5 or Unity. It's either switching to Unreal Engine 5 or Unity at this point. And it's like, because both of those are the game engines that can just keep expanding and expanding and expanding over and over again as people build onto it. You can't do that with Sony. Sony can't do that without relying on Unreal 5, dude, because it's PS4 is not going to last that much longer, and you're stuck to
And they're
Unreal
still selling
4.
them.
They're still selling them, yeah, because you don't have any other option right now to play
Exactly.
their games right now, because you can't get a PS5. So you have the developers having to work on older hardware just to push their games out, because then you don't have enough PS5 sales to justify
rely
the
on that.
production cost.
Or
Of
just
the
to rely on that
quality
whole,
they're putting out.
just to rely on that whole ecosystem of PS5 people. There's not enough of them.
There's not
So-
enough. Yeah, so they have to rely on PS4.
Meanwhile, with Xbox, it's like, okay, people on PC and Xbox Series X, so we're fine.
Dude,
they can
I'm
rely
telling
on just
you,
only next gen games.
They can rely on just next gen and PC and cut out the rest of the Xboxes and be totally fine. Because
Starfield, that's
they
gonna be
can just
Series X
run it all.
only.
They can just run it all on PC, dude, and PC can play all of the 360 games. So it's like they have them on backward. Microsoft has them on backwards compatibility, which people
Yeah.
love. They've nailed that. They've nailed smart delivery. It's like PS5 has cool gimmicks and all, and I'm not knocking DualSense, which is an amazing feature, but it's like they don't have anything, and I can't justify spending $70 for a game when I could just pay $60 for a quality game on Xbox, or pay $15 a month for Game Pass and get that same quality and have no issue with it and not have to be locked to a console.
All right,
Yeah.
so getting to the chat real quick. Makers went on ahead and said it's easier to develop for because most contractors and individual devs use Unreal Engine 4 and Unity generally. So,
well, yeah, that's
There you go.
what they're focusing on right now until Unreal Engine 5 is. Until devs know Unreal Engine 5, it's easier to work with Unreal 4 and Unity because that's been established as a standard at this
Gotcha.
point. So yeah, Maker's right. Like I know Maker from other shows. And it's like, hi Maker. I know him from other places, but it's like he's right. Yes, it's easier for devs because most contractors and individual devs still stick with UE4 in Unity. So like a lot of these games that you see wandering around on Twitter and stuff are still on Unreal Engine 4, they're still on Unity and stuff like that. Yeah, he's right, because it's just generally easier to work with and it's established, at least until Unreal Engine 5 becomes the standard in the next few years. But when Unreal Engine 5 takes over, Unreal Engine 4 is going to be put on the back burner. It'll still exist, but it's not going to have the staying power that 5 has, because 5 allows them to push into the next generation. Just for example, the Matrix demo, which is really cool, by the way. Even though I can't play it, just watching the YouTube video is crisp as all hell, and it makes me want to be able to play the demo. It's like that's my point, dude, is until that happens, yeah, they're gonna stick with Unreal Engine 4 and Unity, which is cool. But when Unreal Engine 5 comes, like for real, like it's basically in the testing stages right now. People have it and they're working with it, but they're not at the stage right now where they can say, okay, we're just gonna throw something out in Unreal Engine 5 because it's gonna be a disaster. Right now, so they're not familiar with it because it's a whole different ball game in terms of engine power and everything else. So it's like, I don't know, dude. Like, I get Maker's point, but it's like when Unreal Engine 5 comes, it's all of that's going to be thrown on the back burner, and it's going to be either Unreal Engine 5 or Unity. Unity has no problem because Unity can rely on both the Linux communities. They're developing native Linux support and everything along with that. So Unity is going to have no problem keeping up with Unreal Engine. It's just appealing to different markets, except Unity has the PC market more so than Unreal Engine does. Unreal Engine is more the console market than it would be PC, because Unity has Linux as well. They basically have the entire PC market, plus all of the most of the major devs, plus a lot of the indie devs. So Unity in general would have no problem keeping up with Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 would probably be mainly for all of the next generation console games that are going to hit. But that's it.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic point though. Thanks for bringing that up, Makers. And you're right. Yeah, I mean, you put it in the comments as well. They are working on, like, Ninja Theory Coalition, CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
We got
well, yeah, they're all working on it.
Working with those systems. So you're gonna see a lot of people kind of leaving those old engines behind and just going with UE5 because it's so easily, universally, approved by a lot of different developers and whatnot. There's so many assets probably in that.
Red Engine
over
4,
with new things.
Like Red Engine 4 is a good engine, but even CD Projekt Red is realizing that they can do so much more with Unreal Engine 5 and have much more support than having to rely on just their custom game engine, which is really good, don't get me wrong, but they're limited in the scope they can do with it. It can only get them so far.
Yeah, you got to think that Matrix demo, yes, it was for us as consumers to look at and whatnot, but it was also for those developers out there that have been purposely ignoring it or, going out of their way not to use something like that. That was a massive
that was like, hey,
advertisement.
That was basically Unreal Engine 5 showing, hey, look, you can do all of this stuff. So let's start working with it now, because people have probably been on the fence. The devs, like, I'm not a developer, so I'm not in those circles of when they talk, but I have no doubt they've been talking for years about whether or not to go with Unreal Engine 5 because it's resource intensive, but you can do so much more with it. And that Matrix demo was the perfect example of, yeah, you're right, Ham, is like, look, the consumers, this is what you can look forward to. But they were really speaking to the devs and be like, hey,
this is what you have to work with.
I was like, it can look this good now. Let's see what you can do. It was speaking more to the devs than it was the consumers. That was basically eye candy to the consumers. But that was basically saying, hey, devs, Unreal Engine 5 is ready. Let's get to work. This is what it can do.
All
Let
right.
me see what you.
I'm gonna go ahead and cut that off though, because we've been talking about that for like a hot
yeah.
minute. That was like
I,
almost
I,
an
even
hour.
I even forgot the topic we're on.
Bro, we was on
The take of the week.
take of the
That's
week,
what
and
it is. Okay.
we ended
I
up
was
having
trying
a
to where
foremost
are we in the
therapy
show right
session.
now? I don't know.
My bad on that. Yeah, but it's like
Foremost
Dude,
went
it's-
all the
Sony
way
is done.
in, and he just confessed his love for PlayStation, how it is now lost, and
did,
they
but
are
it's like
going to be doomed.
they're screwed right now, dude. Point in
You're
case
living
I'm
in
done.
Xbox's shadow.
I'm done talking about it, but like they're
Here you
right
go.
now they're done. I'm writing Sony off for right now, and if I had to get a console,
Good
I'd rather
man.
get an Xbox Series X
Ouch.
because it's just more
Yeah.
value. It's just better. I'm a consumer. I want to pay more value. I want my value. And Xbox has it. Sony doesn't. That's the bottom line. That's it.
You see what you did, Twan? You started all of this.
Yeah, man. I
With
just sat
your
back and just watched
basic
this.
take of the
you know.
week.
Yeah.
You made a take of the week, and then
Yeah.
Foremost turned around
That's
and gave a take after that. That
Well,
was
because
I knew exactly how this would play out.
that's
it.
That's BS, dude.
He gave
If
you a-
someone tries
he
to
gave you
say
a
it-
the moment I just
thick
paused and I just let everything play out.
All right, well, now we are down to our last couple things. The first one before the last one is the Game Smush. So I want you to talk about that, Matt, because it is
That's all you, man.
your week.
All right. So I was thinking two games that I have always loved, really, Gears of War and Halo. I want Gears of War mashed with Halo. I want either this way. I want either a first-person Gears of War
Mhm.
or a third-person Halo. Now,
I would
out of
love
those two, I think first-person Gears of War definitely.
Fucking first person.
I don't. Well,
Kind of like Doom,
honestly,
basically.
I'm with Matt
with the
on
slower
that, dude.
pace.
I would rather go because Gears is a pretty cool game in third person. So yeah, like playing that, it'd be like an offshoot of Doom, yeah. But like Gears is special in its own way in that. And like if you could do like a first person view that, dude, I would rather do that instead of a third person Halo, which is cool and all, but like Halo already kind of has that with the kill cams and stuff where you
Mhm.
kind of already have third person, or if you're doing like oddball and stuff like that, you kind of already have third person. So it's like I can't see Halo being able to do much with like a
Yeah.
full on third
I mean,
person.
Halo especially hasn't really been a violent series. I mean, the newer games are rated T for teen. you
Yeah,
know?
it's
So-
more comedy and stuff
Yeah,
like
it's like
that.
bright lights, flashy
Bright
guns
lights
that
and,
aren't
like,
actual
really
real
cool
guns.
architecture.
Laser guns, It's not
Yeah,
actual,
like even
You
in
know?
like that brings up a good point. Like in Infinity, the compared to the old Halo games where like the needlers like full on like you're using the needler and they just full on explode. They don't do that in Infinity anymore. The explosions aren't as fantastic.
Well, they're not as exaggerated too.
Yeah, they're not as exaggerated or anything like that. It's very, very toned
Plus,
down.
I'm pretty
now.
sure there used to even be blood also in the
There
old
used to be
games.
blood
there
now
was
in
definitely
it.
blood.
Yeah.
No, and they tone
There's
that
a lot
down
of
now
it.
too, dude.
Yeah.
So it's like now I don't even like. I used to love taking the needler and then just purposely overloading. Like even if it didn't do anything to the Jackal shields, I would sit there and just dump needler clips into it because they would just end up exploding into just this
Yeah.
massive explosion, regardless. And when I use the needler in Infinity, it's like that's cool and all, but it's not the same.
Yeah, but
I
I'd love
guess
to
it's
see
very,
this in
very toned down.
But yeah, like combining Halo and Gears, I'd just love to see a very violent Halo game too. Like
I would love that. Well, that would be Gears in
Ooh,
first
yeah,
person.
Yeah,
would
that'd
be
just
cool.
be interesting to see,
I would-
with the
I would
chainsaw
rather-
and everything, and it's
I
like
would
Master
rather
Chief doing it.
go-
It's like
I would
just
rather
Master Chief
go-
going mad, basically.
I would rather go Gears. I would choose Gears first person over a Halo third person because I would love to just straight up see someone get shotgun in the face, Gears style, but in first person, and that would probably
Yeah.
be very, very bloody, but very cool to see all at the same time.
Yeah. See, if it was the options were like we talked about, Gears first person or Halo third person, then it's Gears first person for me. But Twan brings up a point of an extremely violent Halo game. Like, I don't know if you guys have yet. We talked about last week. I don't know if you guys have yet watched the show, the first episode of the show.
Mhm.
That shit's violent.
Yeah.
That shit is very, very violent.
It is very
And it's shocking because Halo used to be like, I mean, it was never over
Yeah,
like
it was never like
exaggerated
Doom.
violence, but
it
was never like Gears of War or some shit. But it was
Yeah.
like it used to be violent. There
blood
used to be
here
a
and
lot
there,
of blood
yeah.
in Halo.
Mhm.
But for some reason, I guess whenever 343 took over, I guess to make it more accessible to children or whatever.
Get that teen rating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They bumped it down to teen, took out the blood and whatever. But it's
and then
interesting
we got the whole
that they did
blueberry,
exactly.
blueberry blood, whatever you want to
It's
call it.
interesting to me they did that, yet for their show, they went so far, like insane violence.
The show's not.
It's like an offshoot. It's like,
well, yeah, because it's not canon, so they could basically
it's not really
take the
Microsoft
violence
doing
and
it,
turn it up
too.
to 11 if they want. They can
You can't make that show PG either. It'd be so freaking boring.
Oh, dude! If they made, I haven't watched it yet, but if they made that show PG, dude, I'd be pissed off. I would like
It'd be
not
horrible.
even bother watching it. Yeah, because it's like, dude, I was like, it's Master Chief. You've grown up watching Master Chief basically kick aliens' heads in your entire life, and it's like your entire childhood was Master Chief is just gonna go in and mess up everybody's lives.
Yeah.
So it's like, and to be able
Yep.
to see that in the show and him just doing that exact thing is perfect. From what I've seen, like and from what you guys talk about, where he's just allowed to just be this overall badass Spartan, just destroying everything, is what I would like to see. Yes, in like the perfect mashup of like a very violent Halo where you could see Master Chief just like, I want to see Master Chief like grab a grunt and then just punch it in the face and watch it fly across the screen. Or
I
be able to like
want
stomp
see
on a
Master Chief
brute's
basically
face.
be Doom Guy,
Yeah, like
glory kill
yeah.
a grunt.
just
Right.
rips the grunt's head off.
Like, dude, if I could see that where it's like you have Master Chief just straight up like you have a brute on the ground and you could just sit there and hammer its face in with your fist, dude. I would
Just
love.
blood
I would
everywhere.
play that over and over again, and I would make endless clips of being able to do that, or just like throw a grunt on the ground and stomp its face in, because why not?
Imagine imagine you just said hammer. Imagine the gravity hammer.
Oh, jeez.
With gore.
You just do
That
that,
would
and
be
just blood everywhere.
destroying
It's
people.
like
It'd be destroying people.
Oh my god.
They
That
would
be
probably
insane.
sit there and be like, "Oh, dude, they did have heart attacks," and be like, "Oh,
yeah, just make it Doom. Just make it Doom,
Not
but
gonna
like
need
with
Viagra
Halo.
tonight, boys. I'm already hot. I'm ready to
It's
go.
like Doom, but with like Halo gameplay, you know.
Yeah.
Doom, but not as fast paced.
Well, like imagine like just like a first person energy sword, and you just straight up just slicing somebody,
Cutting
dude.
people's limbs off.
Yeah, like, and you just see like the
vaporizes it,
plasma and just like their body is just nothing but like molten just strips.
Yes.
On
Yeah,
the
he looks
side.
like Shinobi, right? No arms.
Yeah.
No arms, dude. You just chop it off, dude. Like
Call back.
if they could make a very violent Halo like that, dude, that would restore my faith instantly.
I
That would
love
be like an instant. If they tease that at all, dude, I'd be telling them, give me my money. I'll give you my money now.
Well,
Just
they
release
actually
the game
have
because I
been
wanna
like
do that.
talking about possibly a Doom and a Halo crossover. That could work, you know, as
Just
like a violent
ramp
Halo
up the
game.
you'd have to
you
ramp
know?
up the violence.
Because
Just
you can't
ramp
have
up the
Doom
violence,
Guy
yeah.
in a in a rated T
Exactly.
game. It
You
has
have
to
to
be
ramp it
M-rated,
up.
you know. So might as well
No,
go
you
all out
can
with it.
never have Doom Guy in a rated T game, dude.
Yeah, that's enough.
think
you
He'll
could
be like, I'm
never,
not showing up. Doom Guy's like, I'm not showing up if it's
in
T-rated.
Eternal,
Yeah.
dude, he just straight up like in the intro scene, like just straight up, it's just slaughtering everything,
Yeah.
dude. So it's like I would love, dude. That's like a power fantasy to just like have a very, very violent Halo game where like Master Chief, like imagine if like Master Chief is literally the last Spartan and you just go like into full on rage mode, dude, and then just go
lost it, yeah.
slaughter. I would enjoy that so much. Give me a gravity hammer. Give me an energy sword. Give me my fist, dude, and I will go ham on everything in sight.
Yo, it's not even 2 weapons anymore. You can hold like 9 weapons at once. You know, just switch between all.
I want to dual wield shotguns.
Dude, give me a Halo game where I could sit there, drive a warthog, and then spin the back tires on a grunt's face. And I would do that just to watch it happen. That's a very violent Halo game, and I would do it.
The enemies would be so screwed.
Dude, give me as violent as possible, and I will take out all my anger on those 100%. Games. I will, if I could sit there, like give me where I can see the backside of a warthog wipe a brute off a cliff, or see a wraith take and you just see the gut splatter off of you just rolling over a brute. Or like imagine like the what are the brutes like how they have like the spines or whatever sticking out of them. Like imagine if you had a Halo game where you could just sit there and assassinate them by ripping the spine out of their back, exposing their flesh, sticking a grenade in it in first person, and then just watching it. Dude, I'm not even thinking this is just all. This is all on the fly, dude. Like you can,
this is all on the top of my nasty ass head.
I have a very creative imagination. Like if you could give me, I'm telling you, dude, if you could give me the creative vision to be like, if I could have a team of developers that could do whatever I wanted at whatever I say, I could probably make a very, very twisted Halo.
Honestly,
and it'd be the greatest Halo ever.
At this point, it's pretty much just id Software developing that Halo game.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just give it to id Software, let them do it. You know, Bill, you guys got this.
Say that.
Yeah, just id Software Halo. That's all it is.
Exactly. Here's what you do: you make. Doesn't even need to be. I mean, it'd be cool as hell if it was Master Chief, but it doesn't even need to be. You could do ODST2, but let id Software do it. It's going to be the grittiest, most violent shit ever.
If you let that happen, I would pay.
I would easily
so much money. I would easily. That's instant money, dude. To just
100%.
give me that. Give me that. I will spam their emails and be like, let id Software borrow Master Chief.
We have like the best. We have the best idea of all time, you know.
Dude, I will spam. Dude, I'm telling you, let me be a director of a game, and the devs are able to program. Even though I know it can't happen, like if the devs could just program whatever I say, and I had total creative freedom, dude, I would make the grittiest first-person Halo game you've probably ever imagined, and I'd have so much fun with it. Like, just the crap you've heard, dude. It's so endless with what you could do. Like, I want to take a Jackal's energy shield and just smash their face in, dude. Just like Doom Guy can, but like first person Halo, like a very violent first person Halo would be like.
Would you want it to be open world as well, like Infinite?
Dude, I would love that. Yeah. I want to sit there and take.
Idea.
Like, what if you could just take an enemy and just throw them, like curb stomp them on a cliff in Halo's cliffs? Because why not? Master Chief is supposed to be a badass Spartan.
Like, I see what you're saying. Kind of like a ending piece, kind of like God of War, where it's like hit like clicking the R3.
Where he just goes into full on rage mode. Like, I want to take a grunt, or a brute, and just smash their face in, dude. Because why not? It's Master Chief.
We're talking about mixing Halo with Gears of War, and I think we just thought about the greatest game of all time. Like this sounds like the greatest game of all time.
I would pay so much money to have a violent Halo, dude. Like seriously,
make it happen.
Just make it happen, please. Make a violent Halo, dude. And I would love. Let me sit there and turn a Banshee wing into a blade, and like let me rip off a Banshee wing as Master Chief and then just go swing it around.
How do you think the music should be? Like, how about the music?
Make Halo music, but metal.
Yeah, metal Halo music. So you can like mix that.
Halo music but metal. And I'm pretty sure there's music like that already exists.
100%.
So it's like, just Halo music, but metal. When Master Chief gets pissed, it turns to metal. Otherwise, you just have this cool ass Halo music that you're sitting there playing with, and then when Master Chief goes into combat,
It just
it's
goes
straight.
yeah,
It just
get the
goes
guitars out.
metal.
Yeah.
It just bring out
Yep.
the guitar, bring out the bass, dude. Bring out the screamo, bring out whatever. Just give me like a violent Halo game, dude, and I'll pay you. I will pay $500 for a collector's
Okay,
edition.
okay. So I feel like we've reached a fork in the road. So I'm gonna have you guys each tell me which one that you would actually want. Would you rather take a violent Halo or a first-person Gears?
Violent Halo. That's not a
I
question.
think honestly, I think that sounds like the greatest game of all time to me right now. Just thinking
Right,
about it,
right.
like,
It's just a
thinking about
violent
id
Halo
Software.
game.
Just
Dude.
thinking if id Software making a Halo game and then mixing Halo gameplay, but with the style of Doom,
They
I
own
just think,
Bethesda,
and
so
making that
please
open,
just make
making
it
an open
happen.
world like Halo Infinite is. I think that sounds like the greatest game of all time.
I'd be the greatest game of all time.
Yeah.
I'm going first person Gears just because I feel like
Still,
there's a possibility.
We're talking
There's a
about for like 40
possibility.
minutes.
Let's go.
There's a possibility that a violent Halo, I feel like there's a realistic scenario where that can happen.
Yeah,
But right now, I don't see a realistic scenario where a first person Gears happens, and that upsets me. So
okay,
I'm going. I think Halo is cooler.
yeah.
I think it is infinitely cooler, but I feel like
You just wanna
right
see it
now,
happen,
just based
yeah.
off real world scenarios, I think Halo has a chance to happen, but Gears doesn't,
But
and I want Gears to happen.
that's true. It's FOMO. It's what you.
Yes.
It's big FOMO, and it's like
Yes.
it's what you know isn't going to
It's not-
happen
You want that
within
to
the
happen,
foreseeable
yeah.
future, but you want it to happen.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
really do.
but I'm still sticking. But
He's fighting. He's fighting for it, bro.
Dude, I will
He
die on this
heard your
hill.
vote.
Yeah,
We're gonna go another 30 minutes about it.
I love you, Matt, but like I would honestly, my vote is a very violent Halo.
And I understand it. I understand it.
Also,
100%.
hasn't Halo already like dabbled into third person modes and everything like that? I think you could switch to third person modes in
Maybe
some
in like a
Halo games.
modded, maybe in like Halo Online on PC or something.
I know when you
maybe.
get the Gatling gun, they tend to go in third person.
Oh
too,
well, yeah,
so-
that.
Well,
that's-
yeah, but they haven't actually done like actual like
Yeah.
third person con. Dude, just give me a first
Man,
person Halo.
imagine somebody making a third person Halo in Forge somehow.
See, I'm wondering if that's the kind of stuff this Forge can do. Because if they can, then you could.
I
Then
don't
you can do
change
anything.
I
Infinity.
would play
Yeah.
so much griff ball in third person.
That'd be
Dude,
man,
I would
that'd
do
be
I would do
insane.
it all in third person all the time, dude.
It'd be nuts.
All right,
I
well
can't wait.
let's move to the last thing now because I actually got to get going here in just a second. We've been on for like 2.5 hours, boys.
Yeah,
It's
this might be
been
the
a long
longest
time.
one, and we cut out a whole segment too. We cut out a
Yeah,
whole
we
segment.
cut-
we made up for it. We made up for it.
Yeah.
And that whole segment was
okay.
actually a longer segment, a
Yeah.
fairly long segment. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting next week. But anyways, for the last one, I wanted to go on ahead and do games that are forever over or underrated. First person I want to go because I'm interested in your answer right now is going to be Twan.
Of course it is. I knew it. I saw that coming.
Yes.
All right, this
sir.
one it's a bit of a hot take. This one, this is probably gonna be my first hot take. I don't know if you guys probably might disagree with me actually on this one. So, what I was thinking was the Battletoads game for the Xbox One. I think that game's underrated, in my opinion. I don't know. Are you guys familiar with Battletoads
I
for the
missed out
Xbox
on.
One?
I never
Oh,
yeah.
tried
it
it.
is
For the
actually
Xbox
a really
One.
underrated game.
Because
That's an underrated game.
yeah, because some people are saying it's like it's garbage. I'm like it's not garbage. Like I played through the game like twice actually, and like the combat like it's satisfying to me. Some of the jokes, of course, most of them do fall flat, obviously, right? But like there's actually some genuine moments that I actually laughed. Like there's actually some genuine moments where like okay, that was actually pretty funny. And just some of the mini games they have in there are like good fun. Of course, it's not the most fleshed out thing in the world. They throw a lot at you, but that's the whole point in Battletoads in the first place, right? They kind of just throw everything at the table. And I don't know, I thought it was actually a good take on the whole game in general because yeah, that's what Baltos is. It's just this ridiculous game. Everything's kind of thrown at you. You know, everything's not going to be obviously fleshed out as like if that one genre was, you know, one particular game. But that's the whole point. It's just they just kind of throw all these ideas at you, and you're kind of just going along with it. And I think they pull it off pretty well. Obviously, you know, I'm not going to say it's like a masterpiece or anything. It's a good game, but you know, I just think it just gets a lot more hate than it doesn't deserve the hate that it's getting. That's what I think personally. I don't know. Have you guys that probably did? No one's played it.
I haven't played it in a
not played the new
long
Battlefield.
time, dude. I haven't
Yeah.
played the newest one. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a good time just playing through it once at least. Like I think it's worth it, especially since it's on Game Pass too. I don't know if
Yes,
people want
it
to try
is.
that out. So yeah, I mean it's a
Is it on
first
Game
party.
Pass?
Yeah,
it's a
I've
first
looked
party
at it a few
Xbox game.
times,
It's a
and I
first
just
party
haven't pulled the
Xbox
trigger
game.
to play it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people also hated on it because of the art style. I know a lot of people hated it on that because it's like, you know,
Oh,
it's
it
figured-
is on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's a first party Xbox game, you know. So yeah,
Who
I'd be
made
more
that? I
surprised if it
completely
wasn't.
forget.
I'd
Alright,
be more
next-
surprised if it wasn't on Game Pass.
Next up,
personally.
I'm gonna go with you. Foremost, do your best to keep it under control.
Sunset Overdrive.
Oh yeah,
Sunset
that's
Overdrive
that's
is
a
a
good
really,
choice.
really
Overrated.
underrated game. No, it is not. Don't you dare say overrated.
Aaron, did you just say overrated?
That is not an
Oh,
overrated
like-
game.
it's the most
dude.
underrated game in the entire console generation, in my opinion. was Sunset
100%, dude.
I tell him not to be messy, and then I throw gas on the fire.
It's like you just throw a wrench. You just toss the wrench in there just for the hell of tossing a wrench.
I'm really good at that, actually. I am
But-
really good at that.
That was like a targeted. That was a personal attack, Ham. It's like I honestly, dude, that game is forever underrated. And now that it's on Game Pass, dude, and I'm not playing it at
Well, it's been
30
Game
FPS
Pass
on.
for a while.
I
been on
I
Game
never
for years.
realized it was
Yeah.
on. That's the thing. I didn't really get onto Game Pass until this past year, so I didn't realize it was on Game Pass. And now that I started playing it recently, and I can play it at uncapped frame rates, dude, it's like it's making me miss the game all over again, dude. The acrobatics, the comedy, like everything in there is top notch. The voice acting is
Funny.
very
It's
small,
pretty funny.
but all of the commentary is like unfiltered and hilarious, dude. And it's like I don't think a lot of people appreciate that game, or they've probably forgotten about it. But it's an underrated game, and it's on Game Pass. So if you guys are on PC and you have PC Game Pass or whatever, Game Pass Ultimate, give it another shot because that game is like grabbing me by the heartstrings again.
Also, I
dude,
feel
'cause
like the people
played
that
it.
haven't, I feel like I feel like they haven't even tried it at all, let alone, you know, giving it another shot. They
Dude,
probably
but
haven't
yeah,
given it that
it's
first shot. You know what I'm saying?
it's such a like it's just parkour, acrobatics, high octane, funny
Because-
commentary.
Because the moment you actually get into that game and you actually play it, you're gonna be hooked until the end.
Dude, yeah,
You know?
that was
100%.
me. I started playing it again and I got hooked like
Yeah.
all over again, dude. And I was like, it's
Yeah.
such a good game. I just like meeting all the wacky characters and your character just basically not caring. Your character's like, I just want to get out of the city,
Yeah,
man.
he is enjoying the apocalypse. You know.
Yeah, he's like,
"Why is
he's
this
like,
happening?"
I'm just here, and he's like, I just grind in, bring my weapons, do what you want, and then I'm out. I just want to get out the city.
Yep,
All right, and then
that's a
Matt,
great game. Okay, so
that was
I'm
very
gonna go
controlled, by the
under.
way, Foremost. That was very controlled. I'm sorry that I had to throw a wrench in there, but it was
Yeah,
very...
Nah,
and
yeah,
why you gotta
you're
throw
trying to get
some
things, you're trying to get
plans
things
like
moving
that?
right now. You're like, I gotta go home. You know, I
Yeah,
Go-
Ham.
gotta have my dinner with my family right now or whatever. I don't know what you're happening, but
I-
you gotta get going now.
I'm gonna go with overrated. Overrated.
Okay.
Underrated.
Under-
Sorry.
okay.
Firewatch. I don't know if you guys
Alright.
have played
Oh, yeah,
Firewatch.
that's like the
Actually,
walking simulator, right?
I have played Firewatch. That's actually a really cool
Yeah.
game. That's really underrated. I agree with you there.
Yes, that game is a game, not just much like I brought up Dishonored one week,
Yeah.
where the critics, anyone who plays it who's a critic, loves it, but nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
nobody
I never
nobody
actually
knows
played
about
it.
it. and the story is so good. I mean, it, like it, it's beautiful. It's like it's almost scary at some points. Like not scary, but eerie, I should say. Uh, I feel like the only bad thing about that game would probably be the ending. It's not a
Yeah,
very
I was gonna just say I heard the ending wasn't the best in that. I think
yeah,
it ends
the
abruptly
ending,
or something.
yeah, it
Something like
ends
that.
pretty abruptly. It's
Yeah.
not like the story along the way is so good and it pulls you in so much that the ending, to be fair, the ending would have had to been something completely insane
To
to
even match up the
to
rest of the
be
game.
worth that
Yeah.
story. And it just happened to not be. But the
It's like,
game
oh, we ran out
itself,
of budget kind of thing, you know?
yeah. The game itself, it's not very long and it's in Game Pass now.
Yeah.
So if you haven't tried
Okay.
it,
Yeah.
now
I
would
know I have
definitely
a
be
friend a friend told me about that game. And yeah, he
It's
obviously
a
told me
it's a
about the ending as
very
well, but
emotional game. It's actually really
yeah,
good, dude.
it's incredible. I love it.
It's a great if you're a fan of like narrative driven like story based games, which I know a lot of people are, dude. That actually is a pretty good game, and
Mhm.
it's never really. You're right, Matt. It's never really like talked about, dude. Like at all.
Ever.
Like I rarely ever hear anything about it, but it's all the reviews are like amazing. Like, dude, like the game is good. It's a great game. It's just not something that a lot of people
even know about,
know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not even aware. So that's a very, very
It's like what you
underrated
say
game.
about Dishonored, right? Like critically it does well, right? But just no one's actually playing it, you know? Just
Yep.
no one really talks about it. That's the problem with it.
100%.
Yeah. All right.
Anything
Ham
else
Solo?
on that, Matt? Or should I do mine?
Well, you
I think
gotta
you
get
should
going
do.
now, don't
Oh,
you?
and Ark is overrated.
Oh my
Art
god.
is
Stop it.
overrated, dude.
Stop
Yeah.
it.
I will
Stop it.
stay. I will side with Matt
This
on
guy was
this
saying it's underrated.
24/7,
Now
dude.
he's saying it's
Okay.
overrated.
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
hear it, Ham. Here.
All right. So I'm gonna do an overrated game this time.
All right. Here's another hot take.
And
You got Ham.
it might be a hot take, but I feel honest about this one. The overrated game that I chose is an Insomniac game,
Oh, I don't know. I'm already sitting up now.
and it is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Yo, you're
muted,
muted.
Matt.
Yo,
He's mad as hell.
He probably like
He
punched
is
his
mad
mic. Or
I
is he like
can't-
censoring
yeah, you're
himself?
Yeah, you're
You said
still-
overrated?
Yes.
Yeah, he said
Good.
it's overrated.
Oh, that's fine. That's
Hey, you know what? Ham, I'm with you. Like I haven't played it.
I wish I
haven't
heard what he
played it.
said when he was muted.
Yeah, he.
Oh, I just-
What
I-
did
he
you
looks
say?
so
What
angry.
did you say?
He looks so angry.
Oh, I was like, is he like bleeping himself right now?
I
Is he, like,
thought
swearing?
you were saying it was underrated. I was like, what?
No, overrated. Overrated.
Okay.
I'm
All
pretty
right,
sure
all
I
right.
said overrated at the beginning.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Say, you did.
No,
say
you-
overrated.
you
That's
did,
fine.
yeah.
You did.
Okay,
That's
cool.
fine.
So the reason I think that game is overrated is because the story, it feels very lackluster. And one of the biggest pet peeves for me was Rivet being literally everything that Ratchet is. Yet
Yeah.
the antagonist is totally different than the other antagonist. Like the new antagonist in the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart game, where I forget his name.
Nefarious.
Yeah. Nefarious. Nefarious is lame in Ratchet's world,
Yes.
but you go over
Yeah.
to Rivet's world and
It's
he's
supposed to be the opposite.
freaking nuts.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
It's
though.
the opposite, right? But there is no
Yeah.
opposing part about Rivet. She is literally Ratchet.
Well, because like
I mean,
the way
she's
the
a
way they did
female,
with
that's
the way
why.
they did with so the way they did with Rabbits, obviously she's a female, right? That's all.
is
Yeah.
that it? Is that
And all of it?
Well,
No, not
yeah.
all. Not really, because in Ratchet's universe, he's with Clank, and he's they're buddied, right? But in her universe, she's by herself. So it's like a separate universe where they didn't really meet. because of obviously they eventually meet, but they kind of force that.
Yeah, but
I
exactly.
forgot what the
But
robot's
for
name
me.
their
was.
personalities
If that's
are
the
the
only
exact
difference, that doesn't
same.
do it for me. If that's
Yeah,
the only
they're
there is no special power from this person. She doesn't really have a very good come up within the story. I felt for her like the introduction to her was interesting, but the backstory was kind of it felt like pushed forward a little bit and not enough
Yeah.
information about it. And then on top of it, like I said, the most irritating part for me by far was just like whether I was playing as Ratchet or I was playing as Rivet,
Or the same
everything was
characters,
the
yes,
same.
yeah.
The
Even
weapons were the same.
Yeah.
Like it just wasn't like I didn't feel like I got a new character, even though they
Yeah.
introduced it as a new character. I felt
yeah,
like
that
I
one
just
I'll
got
give you that one.
I felt like I just got a different paint job each.
Yeah, because
in
it was
different
funny
scenes.
because you'd get the hover boots for another character, and somehow Rivet's got the hover boots now.
Yeah.
They just
I
she
buy a gun
magically
with
gets them.
Ratchet, and now Rivet has the gun.
Yeah, they're the same character, but you're turning.
Now Rivet has the gun.
Yeah.
How'd this
It's-
happen?
it's-
Yeah.
true. Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's the
like
part I'll give you because they're not actually separate characters. It's technically the same character, right?
Feel
their
like-
their
I feel like if
personalities
they
are the exact same.
I feel like if they simply would have just like even if they would have gave me the illusion by splitting the guns up between the two, like you can only use these guns with Rivet, you can only use these guns with Ratchet. That would have been
Yeah.
like, man, I could beat this boss easy with Rivet, but
Right,
I'm
yeah.
in the world with Ratchet right now, and this is tough.
Yeah.
You know,
They'll
so
throw a curveball at you.
I just didn't feel like the only reason that game was really cool at all to me was photo mode. That was the best part of the game for me. Was photo mode. Photo mode was literally the coolest part of that game. Minus that, I felt like I was playing an old Ratchet and Clank with a second Ratchet. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, to be fair,
I
that game
see
still
that.
doesn't, in my opinion, that game still doesn't touch the PS2 games. Like the PS2 games are just masterpieces.
Oh no, dude!
in my
I
opinion.
used to love the PS2 games of
Yeah, like
Ratchet.
those games
Just
are like some
all
of the best games of all time. Like the
the
PS2 ones, like 1 and 2 especially. Like oh
where
my
you could
God.
drive. Which was it?
I'm talking about
remember-
Ratchet and Clank and going Commando.
No,
Those
yeah,
two.
there is.
And then
No,
of course
I
there's also Up Your Arsenal as well. That's the third
Up
one.
Your Arsenal was the one where you had you could drive the vehicle or whatever, but if you drove
Yeah.
it to a certain area, you had you could go drive it up into the museum, or there was a secret when you had the vehicle. I'm trying to remember. It was Up Your Arsenal. You could do something with that vehicle you had, and if you went to an area, you could basically get into Insomniac's museum.
Oh yeah, I think all of them had that feature where they'd have.
Oh, see, I only
Like, pretty much all
specifically
of them had
remember it from Up Your Arsenal, but yeah,
Yeah. All of them
Yeah,
pretty much had that. I don't think
I-
the newer ones have that. I'm not sure.
I
though.
don't think the
so.
newer one. I haven't played the newer one. I've just watched it through and through, but I don't know if it does. But Ham, you're right. It's a really overrated game because
It
Ratchet
just looks
and
great to me. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, the
Like,
best
if
thing about
that game
the
looks
graphics
like-
are insane. The graphics are insane in that game.
They
Looks
are
fantastic.
And if I feel like if you took that out of the equation, that game would have got like a 70.
if it didn't have capabilities, if it didn't release on the PS5 where you could show off, even though I seriously am not a fan of ray tracing, I don't care. But if it didn't have gimmicks like ray tracing, or it didn't take advantage of the SSD,
Yes.
which it still doesn't make any sense. Well, because you said there were devs that were coming out and said that it's not you can't do
Look
that.
at Titanfall 2. Yeah,
It's
look
not
at Titanfall
uncommon,
2.
yeah.
It's not an uncommon thing. So it's really all it had was, hey, it's ray tracing. Hey, this is a really cool thing that you could do with the PS5, but that's it. It didn't have anything besides looking pretty. It's like a fireworks show.
I feel
that-
like that game it's like a more expansive Astro's Playroom. It's like
Yeah,
it's
I
a
think-
demo for the
I'll
PS5
definitely
more
say
than
Rift
it is an
Apart.
actual game.
I'd say Rift Apart is definitely a step up from the PS3 games, in my opinion, though.
Well,
Because the
yeah,
PS3 games are they're okay.
visually
Not even just
and
visually,
gameplay-wise,
gameplay wise.
yes.
Like the like Rift Apart, it's like, okay, this is way better than like the PS. Like
Well,
it's
you
a good
can,
step up
yeah, you
from the
can
PS3
push it.
games.
The combat and stuff is a lot more
Yeah.
satisfying in Rift Apart than it is compared to the
But
PS3.
in my opinion, it still doesn't touch the PS2 games in terms
No.
of story and just what they're going for. It's just no, the PS. There's something about the
It-
PS2 games are just so good.
It's an incredibly
second.
overrated game. Rift Apart is incredibly overrated.
It's still a great game though. It's still a great
It's
game.
a good game, but it's overrated on the
It is.
grounds of
Yeah.
it gets praised for being a PS5 exclusive,
Mm.
and no other real reason than that except it's Insomniac,
Yeah,
it's
I
Ratchet
can
and
see it.
Clank, and it's a PS5 exclusive, and that's why it gets praised.
I feel like that's very true.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the game is garbage. I'm just saying that
It's not
yeah.
garbage, but that's
It's
It's not the
why
masterpiece, you know.
that
Yeah.
people that's why they praise it, and Sony fans will hold it on high water because one, it's
Also, it was
only on
pretty short.
PS5.
It was pretty short.
I
Even
heard the campaign was
100% the game
really,
pretty
really
fast.
short.
Like even
It's like
100%ing
6
it,
hours.
it took me under 10 hours just to 100% it too. You know.
Really?
So yeah, under like 10 hours took me to 100% it
That's crazy.
That's
to get the platinum
short.
trophy and everything.
See,
it's
that
really
goes
short.
back to our previous
70
conversation
hours. She said $70, right? Yeah.
for a game that you're gonna do one and done, and it has no
Yeah.
replayability to it.
Like I maxed out everything. You know, of course. I mean, with Lisa Thatching, like there's the challenge mode, so you could do that as well. But other than that, you know, I got a lot of other games to play, right? So it's like,
All right. Well, that's it, y'all. That's it.
Yeah.
We hit the end of the show. That was fantastic.
the longest one.
Really,
yet.
yeah. We're 10 minutes from
I
it
think we
being
were
3
putting, like,
hours.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
It's
259.
a beefy podcast.
2
Thank
hours
God,
and
thank God we
50
didn't play Anthem.
minutes. Yeah, I guess for this week for sure. But I want to thank everybody for coming out. The chat was pretty wild.
was pretty
for a little
lively.
while. It
Yeah,
was very
pretty
lively. It
lively.
was awesome to see some familiar faces and some new faces come in as well. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go on ahead and just kind of do the outro. But I want everybody to speak up on where they can be found. But yeah, HamSolo05 Gaming is where you can find me on Twitter. Also, TSWS Gaming for YouTube as well. I have episodes of Behind Them Sticks every Tuesday and Thursday. You can find me here on Sunday. And on Friday, I have a busy day where I'm on TSWS with Loke doing bullsitting. And then later on in that same day, I'm with K Mega 405 doing his show as well. Pretty lively show over there. Check them out. But if you want to just be alerted when I actually go live or something like that, just follow me on Twitter. I always announce it and whatnot. But let's move down to Twan.
All right. So you can find me on Twitter at It's Me Twan. You can also find me here every Saturday on the Game Drain. And that's about it. So Matt, you're up.
Okay, so just follow me over on Matt Likes Games on Twitter. I'm posting there constantly, pretty much every day. I'll announce whenever I get a new video, and you can check that out over on Matt Likes Games on YouTube. And like I'll try to post every week, but like I said earlier, this week's been super light, so there's just nothing to talk about really. So I mean, we'll see about next week, but
You don't want
yeah,
to talk about Spartacus?
pretty regular content. What's that?
So you don't want to talk about Spartacus?
I'm not making a video for Spartacus. That's
Got
not
that's
it.
a
worth it.
waste of a video.
Exactly.
Don't
time.
get Foremost started again, bro.
And my time.
All right. Foremost, where can they find you, bro, before we get up out of here?
Of course, always here every Sunday. And then on Twitter at @foremost_GG. You guys can always find me on there. Always talking, always posting clips, doing whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
That's it.
Fantastic. Well, this was a fantastic show. I hope I see a lot of you guys next week and in the following episodes. Don't forget to check us out this coming Saturday as we all try to get together to get
Hopefully it
Anthem.
has this time. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, sorry
we'll
about
try to get that figured out sometime this week and double check and make sure that we're good to go. And
It's
we'll post
confirmed,
something on Twitter on the Game Drain Twitter which we actually never talk about. So yeah,
That's
you
something
can.
we definitely should be
Yeah, we have a
talking.
game
Yeah.
drain. Yeah, we have a Twitter, by the way. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
and,
it's
and I'll
quite
actually
important.
include that in the new in the next episode that we have of
Really?
Game Drain. I'll put it in one of